Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 39-20. Saint Dragon Xia Yan pondered for a moment and slowly nodded. Then let's use the dragon weapon as the wager. The winner will get the dragon-grade dragon weapon of the loser. Now, let the battle begin. At this point, Xia Yan could not lose face to Shi Tao. Since Shi Tao had agreed to the wager, Xia Yan had to agree as well. Otherwise, if word got out that the Xia clan residence was inferior to the Shi clan residence, his reputation would be greatly affected. Moreover, Xia Yan did not think that Xia Tianhan would lose to Kong Xinmu. After all, Xia Tianhan was now a powerful dragon martial artist who had stepped into the divine martial realm. Even if it was just the inherited blood essence of a real dragon, it was enough to deal with a sky dragon in the 8th tier of the dragon ascension realm. Begin. Kill. When Xia Yan nodded and agreed to the bet, Jiang Shenwu's eyes revealed a cold glint. He tossed the heavenly saint's halberd into the sky, and then his entire body transformed into a 300 long pitch-black divine dragon that swept toward Xia Tianhan. The heavenly sacred halberd turned into a golden light in mid-air and covered the black divine dragon. It was as if a divine dragon had descended to the mortal world, dazzling with golden light and imposing manner. Xia Tianhan bellowed. He did not believe that he would lose to a dragon ascension realm brat. With the Ice Origin spiritual wheel, he could definitely kill this brat. Ice Yuan spiritual wheel, combine. In the past 3 days, he had also comprehended the combination of the Ice Yuan spiritual wheel and was able to use this dragon-grade dragon weapon with great proficiency. The circular Ice Yuan spiritual wheel instantly turned into countless light blue ice crystals and covered Xia Tianhan's body. The ice crystals made his body, which was originally 350 feet long, grow one after another. Soon, he became an Ice Yuan spiritual wheel. There was a difference in the grade of their divine dragons, but from the looks of it, Xia Tianhan did not lose to Jiang Shenwu by much. Both of them had similar physiques, and the ice crystal dragon body that was expanded by the Ice Origin spiritual wheel exuded a terrifying power of frost, which was extremely cold. Roaring Sky Dragon Claw. Without any hesitation, Kong Xinmu used the Roaring Sky Dragon Claw. The power from the heavenly saint's halberd condensed into a golden light that accompanied his Roaring Sky Dragon Claw. It was as if a divine dragon's claw had descended from the 9 heavens and landed on the body of Xia Tianhan's ice divine dragon. Mysterious Ice Defense. Xia Tianhan let out a divine dragon roar, and layers of mysterious ice appeared in front of his divine dragon body, blocking the howling sky dragon claw. With the help of the Ice Origin spiritual wheel, the profound ice defense's defensive ability was at least twice as strong as before. Xia Tianhan was confident that she could withstand Jiang Shenwu's dragon martial skill. Break. Kong Xinmu's eyes flashed. At this moment it was as if he had touched upon the profoundness of the divine dragon's claw, causing his Roaring Sky Dragon's claw to suddenly break through the bottleneck, advancing from the human grade to the earth grade. Countless silhouettes of dragon claws appeared from all directions, bringing with them a dazzling golden light. Initially, there was only one dragon claw, but now, there were countless of them. This was the Roaring Sky Dragon's claw that had broken through to the earth grade. Even though it was only a grade 5 dragon martial skill, as long as it could be upgraded, it would still possess a powerful destructive power. The Roaring Sky Dragon's claw easily shattered the layers of mysterious ice defense, and then, it suddenly appeared in front of the ice divine dragon. Xia Tianhan was shocked. He did not expect Kong Xinmu's strength to be so terrifying, but it was only with the help of the heavenly saint's halberd. Even if he had broken through to the earth grade, his Roaring Sky Dragon's claw alone would not be so powerful. However, Xia Tianhan did not panic. Instead, he swung his tail with a calm expression. The dragon's tail flew towards Kong Xinmu, condensing and forming an ice mountain. This ice mountain carried with it an extremely cold qi, making it hard for Kong Xinmu to move, as if he had sunk into 1,000 years of ice. Halberd of the Heavenly Saint, condense. In the next moment, a shining golden halberd condensed in front of the ice mountain and pierced towards it. In the next moment, the ice mountain was completely shattered. As the golden light shone, the mysterious ice energy scattered everywhere. Take another strike from me. Xia Tianhan roared, and another ice mountain fell from above Kang Xinmu's head at an extremely fast speed. It seems that Xia Tianhan has the upper hand. Even if Kang Xinmu managed to break through to the dragon martial skill, it will still be too difficult for him to defeat Xia Tianhan. That's right. There is a gap between their cultivation levels. Even if they are evenly matched, Xia Tianhan will still have the upper hand in the end. He will not die from exhaustion. In a battle with a dragon-grade dragon weapon, it would be difficult for Kang Xinmu to even get close to his opponent. However, he still had a backup plan and did not use his full strength. He wanted to see how strong Xia Tianhan was. It seems that your strength is only a so-so. Xia Tianhan sneered as he watched another ice mountain being shattered by the halberd of the Heavenly Saint. After probing, he already understood Kang Xinmu's current strength. Even if Kang Xinmu was holding back, he was no longer afraid of Kang Xinmu going all out. This was because he, too, did not use his full strength. Void Ice Annihilation. Xia Tianhan's Frost Divine Dragon roared at the sky. The Frost Divine runes on his body actually condensed around Kang Xinmu's body, continuously forming ice spikes. In the blink of an eye, countless ice spikes formed, and like a torrential downpour, they pierced towards Jiang Shenwu from all directions. Magic crystals, appear. Kang Xinmu's expression was cold. He did not care too much about his opponent's means. Purple magic crystals continuously appeared on the surface of his body, and under the dazzling golden light, they easily covered the entire body of the black dragon. The countless ice spikes rained down, bombarding and shattering the golden light. However, by the time they landed on the purple magic crystals, they had lost much of their offensive power and shattered into pieces outside the magic crystals. Void Ice Annihilation. Seeing this, Xia Tianhan pushed the power of the Ice Origin spiritual wheel to the limit. His eyes were filled with endless killing intent. In the next moment, countless ice pillars appeared around Kang Xinmu, trying to lock him in and seal him within them. Too naive. Kang Xinmu snorted coldly. His body flickered nimbly, and in the next moment, an afterimage was formed on the spot. His entire body suddenly erupted with a terrifying speed, rushing towards Xia Tianhan. Xia Tianhan was still focused on his Void Ice Annihilation, wondering if it could freeze Kang Xinmu. He did not expect Kang Xinmu to erupt with such terrifying speed in an instant, and could not react in time. Halberd of the Heavenly Saint. Dragon Claw of the Roaring Sky. Kang Xinmu finally got close to his opponent's body. The dragon claw shone with golden light, and 1 turned into 2, 2 turned into 4. Countless golden dragon claws shot out, instantly shattering the ice crystals on the surface of the Frost Divine Dragon. Chapter 39-21. The intense battle between the two sides caused many of the dragon martial artists in the arena to be overwhelmed with emotions. Although many dragon warriors were much stronger than the two on the stage, it was rare to see a battle like this. After all, it was a battle between the Xia clan and the Shi clan, and it was a battle between a Dragon Ascension Realm Heavenly Dragon and a Divine Martial Realm True Dragon. Most importantly, this battle had 2 Dragon Mark combat weapons on the line. This made the battle even more exciting, and incomparably moving. Everyone's attention was drawn to the battle, especially to which side would lose the dragon-grade weapon. For the winner, it was a great encouragement, and for the loser, his reputation in Dragon Prison City would fall. This was a very normal thing. Of course, the most important thing was strength. A dragon-grade dragon weapon could double the strength of a dragon warrior. It was already amazing for the powerful clans in Dragon Prison City to have 3 to 5 dragon-grade weapons. To these clans, a dragon-grade weapon was an extremely precious resource. Who will win? I can't tell yet, but both sides are evenly matched. Isn't that so? According to their strength, a heavenly dragon at the 8th level of the Dragon Ascension Realm and a true dragon at the 1st level of the Divine Martial Realm are almost the same. Even with the dragon grade, both sides have their own dragon grade weapons, and they can use them skillfully. There is still a lot of suspense to determine the winner. No, if this drags on, Xiaofan will definitely win. A Divine Martial Realm Dragon Warrior's strength is much stronger than a Dragon Ascension Realm Dragon Warrior's. I think so too. When Kong Shinmu's strength is exhausted, he will lose to Xiaofan. I'm afraid he will die on the spot. If he loses a battle involving a dragon-grade weapon, I'm afraid Shi Tao will not care about his life or death. Many dragon warriors who were watching the battle discussed. The battle in the arena was getting more and more intense. When Jiang Shenwu displayed the Earth Realm Void-Piercing Dragon Shadow Dragon martial technique, he constantly created afterimages to confuse his opponent. Relying on his faster speed, he attacked Xiaofan. Every time he launched an attack, it would be blocked by the power of the Ice Origin Spiritual Wheel, but Kong Shinmu was also using the Heavenly Saint Halberd to launch attacks, so he didn't exhaust too much of his energy. Don't use the devouring power if you can. I feel that I am now facing a bottleneck. If I continue to fight, I might be able to step into the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm. Kong Shinmu's eyes lit up. If he could reach the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm, he would have no problem dealing with Xiaofan, and he would not even need to use his devouring power. If Jiang Shenwu were to use his devouring power now, he would be able to kill Xiaofan easily. However, he did not want his innate talent to be exposed in front of so many people. There was no need for him to use his trump card in a one-on-one duel against an opponent that he could defeat with ordinary means. Void Ice Killing. Xiaofan once again used his killer move. Countless ice spikes appeared once more, and they shot towards Kong Shinmu. Kong Shinmu turned his body in an instant, leaving an afterimage where he stood. The countless ice spikes shot towards Xiaofan, giving him a fright. He quickly dodged to the side. At this time, Kong Shinmu suddenly turned his head, and the Heavenly Saint Halberd shone with a golden light, condensed into a huge halberd, and smashed down. Xiaofan hurriedly moved. Her Ice Origin Spiritual Wheel erupted and formed an Ice Moon Wheel. It flew out in an instant and collided with the golden halberd. Amidst a loud boom, both divine dragons were sent flying backward. This needs to be more intense. Kong Shinmu's divine dragon eyes were calm and composed. So far, everything was going according to his plan. A true dragon martial artist of the Divine Martial Realm had about the same amount of power. Even with the addition of a dragon-grade dragon weapon and the Ice Origin Spiritual Wheel, the power he could exert was still within Kong Shinmu's expectations. He rushed towards his opponent's divine dragon body, and a golden light shone from his body. It was as if a golden dragon had descended to the world, tearing through the air. Half of Xiaofan's Ice Divine Dragon's body had been shattered, but it was the ice crystals condensed by the Ice Yuan Spiritual Wheel that had shattered. Xiaofan himself was not injured. Seeing this, he continued to activate the Ice Yuan Spiritual Wheel. Countless icebergs rose from below, blocking Jiang Shenwu's path. In an instant, the golden light exploded and the ice crystals shattered. Powerful forces clashed with each other, but Kong Shinmu was not afraid at all. He charged through the whirlpool of power and crashed into Xiaofan's divine dragon body. Boundless power of ice emerged in an instant. Xiaofan once again used the dragon martial technique, attacking Kong Shinmu with the power of ice. However, the power of ice was not much of a threat to Kong Shinmu. With the help of the halberd of Heavenly Saint, he could not care less about his opponent's attack. Jiang Shenwu's dragon claws forcefully grabbed onto the body of his opponent's divine dragon. Boundless golden light condensed into a slender halberd, instantly shattering the ice crystals on the surface of Xiaofan's body with an extremely strong penetrative force. Then, it pierced through the divine dragon's body in one fell swoop. Although it was only a small hole, it was enough for Kang Xinmu. Under special circumstances, he could use his devouring power to corrode his opponent's body and kill him as quickly as possible. At the same time, he could recover. However, he did not use his devouring power right now. Xia Tianhan's strength surged, and the power of ice condensed into an icicle that knocked away Kang Xinmu's black dragon body. Kang Xinmu fell to the ground with a loud rumble. Is the winner about to be decided? Many of the dragon martial artists who were watching craned their necks to see what was happening to Kang Xinmu. Everyone in the Shi clan's residence felt their hearts tremble. They had a bad feeling. Was Kang Xinmu going to lose just like that? But soon, something unexpected happened. On the ground of the martial arena, Kang Xinmu's black dragon body began to change. His dragon claws extended and became sharper than before. The overall aura of the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into was also in a state of rising. This made many people's hearts skip a beat. They could see that Kang Xinmu was making a breakthrough under such circumstances. He was advancing from the 8th stage of the Dragon Ascension realm to the 9th stage. The last transformation of the 9 transformations of the Dragon Ascension realm was about to be completed, allowing him to step onto the top of the Dragon Ascension realm. He actually made a breakthrough at this time. Unbelievable. When he was at the 8th stage of the Dragon Ascension realm, he was able to fight Xia Tianhan to a draw. Now that he has made a breakthrough, doesn't that mean he has the upper hand? I'm afraid the tables are turning. Chapter 39-22. However, no one could stop the changes that were taking place in the arena. As soon as Kang Xinmu's transformation began, the aura of the black dragon skyrocketed, startling all the dragon martialists who were watching the battle. This kind of surge in aura was definitely a sign of a breakthrough. Xia Tianhan, stop him! Xia Yan bellowed. He was not willing to see such a situation happen. If Kang Xinmu succeeded in his breakthrough and killed Xia Tianhan in the arena, it would be a huge blow to the Xia family mansion. Therefore, the only way was to stop Kang Xinmu's transformation in the arena. Don't worry. Xia Tianhan's eyes were filled with malice. How dare you break through in front of me? You're really bold. I remember that you were only at 7th level of the Dragon Ascension realm when you first broke through. How could I let you break through twice in such a short time? The Ice Origin Spirit Wheel erupted with a burst of boundless icy rain, descending from the sky and assaulting Jiang Shenwu below. The temperature of the entire arena plummeted in an instant, as if winter had arrived. Endless icicles rained down, continuously striking the body of the black dragon that Jiang Shenwu had transformed into. However, as Kang Xinmu broke through, he continued to drive the heavenly saint's halberd. The sky was filled with golden rays that formed a golden canopy that rose into the sky, blocking the icicles from hitting him. Under the obstruction of the golden canopy, Kang Xinmu continued to transform. His dragon claws became sharper and his aura rose higher and higher, quickly surpassing Xia Tianhan. Go to hell! The ice divine dragon that Xia Tianhan had transformed into was instantly enraged. He had used all kinds of techniques, but he could not do anything to Jiang Shenwu. If Jiang Shenwu successfully broke through, wouldn't he lose for sure? Seeing the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel being suppressed and pushed away by the Heavenly Saint's halberd, Xia Tianhan's dragon body charged straight at Jiang Shenwu, barging into the golden canopy. Countless ice crystals on the dragon's body were sliced and melted by the golden canopy, but since they were formed by the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel, they were unable to harm Xia Tianhan's body. When Xia Tianhan broke through the golden canopy and crashed into Kang Xinmu, the ice spiritual wheel in his hand radiated an icy light that spread into a layer of ice, trying to trap Kang Xinmu within it. Get lost. Kang Xinmu was in the midst of his breakthrough, but he could still sense the outside world. His divine dragon form tumbled, and the terrifying strength of his divine dragon body sent Xia Tianhan flying. Then, his aura skyrocketed, and the golden radiance of the heavenly saint's halberd exploded, forming a golden halo that spread in all directions. Xia Tianhan hurriedly activated the ice spiritual wheel in an attempt to block the golden halo, only to find that the other party's strength was far beyond his imagination, and he was unable to block it. The entire divine dragon fell backward, crashing heavily into the defensive array at the edge of the martial arena, and then fell stiffly onto the stage. On the other hand, Kang Xinmu's breakthrough process was finally over, and he had stepped into the 9th level of the Dragon Ascension Realm, the pinnacle of the Dragon Ascension Realm. The aura of the Black Dragon was completely different from before. The Divine Dragon's claws were sharper, gleaming coldly, and the eyes of the Divine Dragon were dark and deep, as if they contained the vast secluded night universe, exuding a mysterious aura. The golden radiance of the heavenly saint's halberd continued to condense around the body of the Black Dragon. Golden halberds appeared one after another, and with a single thought from Kang Xinmu, they pierced toward Xia Tianhan. No! Xia Yan found it hard to believe. How could Xia Tianhan be so weak? Logically speaking, the absolute combat strength of both parties was about the same, and as long as he persevered, he would be able to win, but Xia Tianhan was so weak that he could not even stop his opponent from breaking through. The speed of this child's breakthrough is too fast. Someone from the Xia clan estate said with a solemn expression. At this moment, Xia Tianhan was at a complete disadvantage. Countless layers of ice appeared in an attempt to block the golden halberds, but they were unable to do so. As Kang Xinmu's cultivation increased, the power of the heavenly saint's halberd also increased. More and more golden halberds pierced toward Xia Tianhan. Xia Tianhan could no longer block them, and the body of the ice dragon soared into the air in an attempt to escape. Even the power of the Ice Yuan spiritual wheel could not withstand the fatal penetrative power of Kang Xinmu's golden halberds. Unfortunately, the golden halberds quickly changed direction and continued to fly toward the ice dragon, piercing through it in an instant. More than 10 golden halberds pierced through the ice dragon, and dragon blood splattered everywhere. It's about time to announce the winner. The holy dragon Shitao was in a good mood. This was because Kang Xinmu had made a breakthrough in the midst of battle and easily defeated Xia Tianhan. This was extremely good news for the Shi clan estate. Not only would they gain face, but they would also be able to obtain a dragon-grade weapon, the Ice Yuan spiritual wheel. As a result, the overall strength of the Shi clan estate would surpass that of the Xia clan estate. Hold it! The holy dragon Xia Yan snorted coldly. The victor has not been decided yet. How can we announce the winner? Xia Tianhan, stand up and kill that brat. Xia Yan's voice was already tinged with anger. Xia Tianhan was his son, but he was only one of the few that did not amount to much in his eyes. For a holy dragon, the fact that he had given birth to a son with the blood essence of a pure-blooded true dragon was already very displeasing to him. Xia Tianhan trembled when he heard this. His entire body had been pierced by the heavenly saint's halberd, and if he was not treated in time, he would likely die. Even under such circumstances, his father still wanted him to continue fighting. Go to hell. Xia Tianhan's eyes were red with fury as he dragged his heavily injured body and flew toward Kang Xinmu. Oh no, he's going to self-destruct. Many of the Shi clan estate's dragon martialists immediately sensed that something was wrong. If Xia Tianhan were to self-destruct, the final outcome would most likely be mutual destruction, and there would be no victor in this battle. To Xia Yan, such an outcome was obviously much better than Xia Tianhan losing directly. In other words, between Xia Tianhan and the Ice Yuan spiritual wheel and his reputation, Xia Yan had chosen the latter and given up on his son. Kang Xinmu, watch out! Shi Yutong and Shi Yueying shouted at the same time. The situation was critical, but they could not do anything to help. Even their father, the holy dragon Shi Tao, could not help. This was a fair duel in the arena, and no one could interfere. Die! Xia Tianhan was filled with endless resentment. The frost talent in his body continued to condense, and in the next moment, it exploded. The body of the frost divine dragon instantly exploded into pieces. Chapter 39-23. Kang Xinmu's entire black dragon body was completely enveloped by the surging power of ice. The entire arena had become a world of snowstorms. The dragon martialists outside the arena could not see what was happening in the arena at all. Kang Xinmu, Shi Yueying and Shi Yutong, the two girls, felt their hearts in their throats. They had not expected Xia Tianhan to choose to self-destruct at the last moment. Moreover, the sacred dragon Xia Yan was too ruthless to make his son self-destruct. Xia Yan and Shi Tao were different. Xia Yan had dozens of children, but Shi Tao only had 3 sons besides his 2 daughters, Shi Yueying and Shi Yutong. All of them were inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence, so they could be considered relatively harmonious. In the Xia clan residence where Xia Yan resided, the children of the divine dragon powerhouse were constantly fighting for the cultivation resources of the Xia clan residence. The overall environment was extremely competitive, causing people like Xia Tianhan to have to resort to some devious ideas if he wanted to stand out. Unfortunately, thinking of Kang Xinmu was the biggest mistake of his life. Not only did he not gain any benefits, but he also self-destructed in front of countless dragon martialists in the arena. Most importantly, Xia Yan's father had made him self-destruct. To him, this was the greatest pain of his life. But now that he had self-destructed, the one to bear the pain was Kang Xinmu. Sacred Dragon Shi Tao's expression was solemn as he looked at the arena. As long as Kang Xinmu did not die this time, Kang Xinmu would definitely become famous in Dragon Prison City. Although he would offend the Xia clan mansion, he would also gain Shi Tao's trust and respect. Needless to say, he would also obtain a dragon-grade dragon weapon, the Ice Yuan spiritual wheel. It was impossible for a dragon-grade dragon weapon to be destroyed by such a self-destruct. In the end, it all depended on whether Kang Xinmu could withstand it. Although Kang Xinmu was already a dragon martialist with the heavenly dragon blood essence, he was still not at the divine martial realm. It should be known that dragon martialists at the divine martial realm had extremely strong internal strength. Moreover, he had self-destructed in the narrow arena, allowing his internal strength to erupt to the maximum. The group of dragon warriors in the Shi clan residence all started to worry. Although they didn't think highly of Kang Xinmu, they still didn't want Kang Xinmu to die. After all, he represented the Shi clan. As long as Kang Xinmu survives, the Shi clan residence would be able to suppress the Xia clan residence in Dragon Prison City. But if Kang Xinmu died, both sides could only be considered to be tied. This battle would be a loss for both sides. After all, one side had lost a son, and the other side had lost a promising young genius. On the battlefield, Kang Xinmu, who had transformed into a black dragon, shone with a golden light, and purple magic crystals kept appearing on the surface of his body. Before participating in this battle, Jiang Xinwu had prepared 3 Sky Phase Fei cores in order to prevent such a situation from happening. In a normal battle, under the watchful eyes of the public, it was impossible for him to use the Heavenly Demon's Demon Core to heal his injuries. After all, this was a battle on the martial arts arena. Swallowing elixirs was against the rules. Moreover, he did not want to expose his devouring power. But now, the entire arena was shrouded in the power of ice. No one could see the situation in the arena clearly, not even Xinglong. This was because the power of ice produced by Xia Tianhan's self-destruction had already covered the entire arena. Ice crystals danced in the air, and a violent wave of ice surged violently in the arena. The golden light from the heavenly saint's halberd enveloped Kang Xinmu, who had transformed into a black dragon. Under the cover of the purple magic crystals, he directly swallowed the 3 Sky Fey cores and absorbed the tyrannical energy within them with his devouring power. The heavenly vault energy contained in the Sky Fey cores was continuously absorbed into Kang Xinmu's body, and then the purple magic crystals that had been shattered by the endless ice rapidly recovered. Previously at the Dragon Remains ruins, Kang Xinmu had swallowed 1 Sky Fey core, which was enough to prevent Lu Yuefei from killing him no matter what. Now that he had swallowed 3 Sky Fey cores at once, his recovery ability was completely unleashed, and it was terrifying to the extreme. The endless ice and snow made the golden light of the heavenly saint's halberd unable to withstand it at all. Even the purple magic crystals were starting to falter, but with the help of the 3 Sky Fey cores, Kang Xinmu forcibly produced the purple magic crystals. Even if it was too late, the violent power of ice could not cause fatal injuries to Kang Xinmu. Fortunately, I asked Shi Tao for 3 Sky Fey cores before I went on stage. These 3 Sky Fey cores are probably worth tens of thousands of dragon coins, but they saved my life. If not for these 3 Sky Fey cores, Kang Xinmu would definitely not have been able to withstand it no matter what. Originally, he had done it just in case something went wrong, but now it seemed that this decision was very wise. However, this way, Shi Tao would be able to guess something. After all, after he got off the stage, there would definitely be no more Sky Fey cores. Shi Tao would definitely be able to sense the aura of the Sky Fey cores that he took out and see through it at a glance. Then, some things could be guessed and some signs could be seen. However, Kang Xinmu was not worried, because just based on this point, Shi Tao would not be able to guess too much. At most, he would know that he could heal by swallowing the Sky Fey cores. In any case, Shi Yueying already knew about this, so Kang Xinmu did not particularly care. As long as he could not expose the fact that he could increase the grade of the Divine Dragon's blood essence by swallowing the Divine Dragon's corpse, this was something that Kang Xinmu could accept. Otherwise, he would become the enemy of all dragon martial artists, and there would be no place for him in the vast Yen Dragon Emperor Empire. He could not even reveal it to the people closest to him, including his mother, Gu Yuero. It was not that he was worried that Gu Yuero would reveal it, but knowing this would not be beneficial to her, and might even bring disaster. In the arena, the snowstorm gradually dissipated. Outside the arena, all the dragon martial artists were looking forward, knowing that the final result would be revealed very soon. They first looked at the ground in the arena. After all, if Kang Xinmu could die, he would definitely die on the ground, but they did not find any traces of the black dragon on the ground. Then, everyone looked up and saw that in mid-air above the arena, the hundreds of feet-long black dragon was surrounded by golden light and covered by purple demon crystals. They reflected each other, releasing a mystical glow. He's still alive. Everyone was shocked. Shi Yueying and Shi Yutong heaved a sigh of relief, especially Shi Yueying. Although she guessed that nothing would happen to Kang Xinmu, she was indeed very worried just now. Now that she saw the black dragon flying in midair like a king, she could not help but smile. "Sister, you actually smiled, he he he." Shi Yutong pursed her lips and giggled. Shi Yueying immediately withdrew her smile and returned to her cold appearance, but the joy in her eyes could not be concealed. Chapter 39-24. When Kang Xinmu, who had transformed into a black dragon, appeared before the eyes of the onlookers, countless people exclaimed in surprise. Everyone in the Shi clan residence heaved a sigh of relief. Since Kang Xinmu had survived, Kang Xinmu had won the duel, which also meant that the Shi clan residence had won. The other party's dragon-grade dragon weapon, the Ice Origin spiritual wheel, would belong to the Shi clan residence. Moreover, the holy dragon Xia Yan's son had died in this battle. Although Xia Tianhan was not valued by him, the boy's worthless death still made Xia Yan's heart ache. Most importantly, this wager was initiated by the Xia clan residents, which made them lose even more face. Humph. The holy dragon Xia Yan glared fiercely at Kang Xinmu in the arena, then turned around and left with his people. As for the ice origin spiritual wheel in the arena, he naturally did not have the qualifications to take it away. He could only leave it for the Shi clan residents. Although Xia Yan was furious, he did not have the cheek to go back on his words in front of so many people. Shi Tao, on the other hand, laughed out loud and clapped his hands in celebration. The group of dragon warriors from the Shi clan estate behind him also laughed out loud. Today's battle was simply too exciting. The key was not the battle, but the Xia clan estate's face. The other party had framed Kang Xinmu and said that Kang Xinmu had stolen his dragon energy crystal, but that was not the truth. This was already infuriating. Now that the framer had died in the arena under his father's orders, he had self-destructed and died. He must have been in extreme pain before he died and must have regretted initiating this wager. Originally, Xia Tianhan had thought that Kang Xinmu would be easy to deal with. He did not expect that Kang Xinmu's combat strength would far exceed his expectations. He did not expect that Kang Xinmu would be able to make a breakthrough, leaving him without any ability to resist. If he did not self-destruct, there would be no place for him to hide even if he returned to the Xia clan residence alive in such a humiliating situation. Therefore, it was more straightforward to die by self-detonation. Kang Xinmu returned to his human form and slowly walked down the stage. He casually picked up the ice elemental spiritual wheel that had fallen on the stage. The dragon-grade dragon weapon was a ring-shaped ice crystal that emitted a dense icy aura. As soon as he walked down, Holy Dragon Shi Tao led his people to welcome him. Kang Xinmu, well done. You've made a great contribution this time. You can keep the dragon-grade dragon weapon you won from the bet. Shi Tao said with a smile. Kang Xinmu was surprised to hear that. He hadn't expected the Holy Dragon Shi Tao to be so generous. However, there had to be a reason behind his generosity. If Shi Tao didn't want to rope in Kang Xinmu and work for him, then he had other intentions. After all, it was impossible for him to be completely kind. It should be noted that even though he was the one who had participated in the battle and he was the one who had proposed the dragon-grade dragon weapon as a wager and won it in the end, he was still on the side of the Shi clan. Thank you. Kang Xinmu was neither humble nor arrogant. However, when he looked at the heavenly sacred halberd in his left hand and the ice elemental spiritual wheel in his right hand, he felt that the heavenly sacred halberd was more suitable for him. However, why don't we change it? Kang Xinmu asked subconsciously. That's fine too. Holy Dragon Shi Tao nodded his head in satisfaction. My daughter has an ice attribute inherent skill. I had always wanted to prepare an ice attribute dragon-level dragon weapon for her, but I never got one. Now that this ice elemental spiritual wheel is in my hands, it's just right. As for the heavenly sacred halberd, you can keep it for yourself. In this way, the ownership of the two dragon-grade dragon weapons was decided. From now on, the heavenly sacred halberd would completely belong to Kang Xinmu, which made him rather happy. With the heavenly sacred halberd, his chances of winning the clan martial competition would be even greater. At the very least, when facing Jiang Liuxue, he would not be at a disadvantage at all. I just wonder what level Jiang Liuxue has reached. And Jiang Yuaning, I wonder how her cultivation is going. Kang Xinmu thought. In the clan martial competition, a total of 17 divine dragon clans from the dragon prison domain participated. The Jiang clan and the Ji clan were only one of them. In the previous clan martial competition, the Jiang clan was basically in the bottom three. Their overall strength was already very weak. The main reason was that after Jiang Zizai's disappearance, there was no successor, including the lack of all kinds of cultivation resources. Without a leader, the entire Jiang clan's momentum gradually declined. As for the Ji clan, Ji Yishuan had appeared before. In the past 3 years, there hadn't been any strong geniuses appearing, so their overall strength wasn't the strongest. The goal of the clan martial competition is to be able to enter the top few. At the very least, you have to surpass the rest of the Jiang clan. If Kang Xinmu wanted to participate in the clan martial competition, he naturally had to participate in the name of the Jiang clan. After all, this was a matter that concerned the entire Jiang clan. When the time came, he would appear as the inheritor of the heavenly dragon blood essence. Even if Jiang Rong stopped him, the rest of the Jiang clan would definitely agree to let him participate. Otherwise, Jiang Rong's position as patriarch would not be stable for long. In the Jiang clan, Jiang Liuxue is the most recent genius to become a dragon warrior in the past 3 years. In addition to her, there were 2 others in the past years. Their cultivation levels are definitely higher than Jiang Liuxue's. After all, those who participate in the clan martial competition are juniors who have become dragon warriors in the past 3 years. Their competitors are likely to have cultivated for 3 years. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. He held the halberd of Heavenly Saint tightly, full of confidence. Just this halberd of Heavenly Saint was not something that the juniors of the Jiang clan could possess. Even in the entire Jiang clan, there were only 1 or 2 dragon-level weapons. As the clan's heirloom, only the patriarch could use it. Having been in Dragon Prison City for such a long time, Kang Xinmu had made great progress. What he was more worried about was what would happen if Ji Yishuan came to participate in the clan martial competition and saw him. Back then, in order to capture Xue Tianhu, Kang Xinmu was hired by the other party. He stepped into the Zhou Dragon's nether ruins and finally devoured the other party's Qitian spirit grass. Although the contingency plan was perfect, when Ji Yishuan saw Kang Xinmu again and knew that he was still alive, she could remember a lot of things. However, during the clan martial competition, it's impossible for her to make a move. As long as I get a high enough ranking in the clan martial competition and get an audience with Dragon King, even Ji Yishuan won't dare to make a move against me. Kang Xinmu was very clear about this. If he wanted to escape from Ji Yishuan's hands, he needed a stronger backer. Thus, Dragon King Qiu was the best choice. Of course, if Dragon King Qiu didn't appear, the Shi clan would be enough. In any case, the other party wouldn't dare to barge into the Shi clan residence to kill him. Chapter 3925. Dragon Prison City. The clan martial competition was finally about to begin. 17 different clans from the Dragon Prison realm flew towards Dragon Prison City from the distant regions around it. Every clan was led by a clan leader, who was called Lord. In the past, Kang Xinmu's father, Jiang Zizai, was called Jiang Dragon Lord, or the current Jiang clan leader, Jiang Rong, was also called Jiang Dragon Lord. However, the current Jiang Dragon Lord was far inferior to Jiang Zizai. Back then, Jiang Zizai was personally received by the Dragon King and was a super genius whose name shook the entire Dragon Prison domain. Because of this, after Jiang Zizai had disappeared for 10 years, Jiang Rong had the opportunity to become the new Jiang clan leader and obtain the title Jiang Dragon Lord. Of course, this title was only for internal use. For the other clans around the Dragon Prison domain, they would not recognize him as Jiang Dragon Lord because his strength was far inferior to Jiang Zizai's. Even the Jiang Zizai from 10 years ago was much stronger than Jiang Rong. Not to mention Jiang Zizai, even when compared to the other clan leaders and dragon lords, Jiang Rong's strength was at the bottom. Because of this, the Jiang clan would be ridiculed by even more people in this year's clan martial competition. In Dragon Prisoner City, Jiang Rong led 7 or 8 elders of the Jiang clan and the geniuses of the younger generation who had become dragon warriors within 3 years to Dragon Prisoner City. They were preparing to participate in the clan martial competition and strive to obtain more benefits for the Jiang clan. The ranking in the clan martial competition would affect the distribution of cultivation resources for the next 3 years. It was of great significance and could even directly affect the rise and fall of a clan. Once they fell behind, it was very likely that they would fall further and further, gradually entering a state of decline. Jiang Liuxue, Jiang Fengqing, and Jiang Yuaning were among them. After such a long period of cultivation and training, Jiang Liuxue's temperament had become even colder. Her entire body was like ice and snow, emitting an aura that would make ordinary people tremble. Not long ago, she had finally stepped into the first level of the divine martial realm. As she had obtained the inherited blood essence of a heavenly dragon, her overall strength had surpassed the Jiang clan's dragon warriors from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the dragon warriors of the Jiang clan were all inheritors of the true dragon blood essence. Although a few of them had reached the higher levels of the divine martial realm, such as the 3rd or even the 4th level, compared to Jiang Liuxue, their battle strength was much weaker. Moreover, for this year's clan martial competition, the Jiang clan had bestowed an earth dragon weapon to Jiang Liuxue, hoping that she would be able to obtain a better result. The pressure on our clan martial competition this time is extremely great. Even though Jiang Liuxue has risen to prominence, she has risen to prominence too late. She has only cultivated for less than a year. In the other clans, among the dragon warriors who awakened in the past 2 years, there are basically inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood. I'm afraid they are now at the 3rd or even the 4th level of the divine martial arts realm. It's too difficult to suppress these people. The people of the Jiang clan were all deeply worried. Ever since Jiang Zizai's disappearance, the Jiang clan had continued to decline. If not for Jiang Liuxue's rise, this year's clan martial competition would not even be held. A clan that had not awakened the heavenly dragon blood for 3 years in a row would be ridiculed by the entire dragon prison domain. Then, they would be relegated to last place, and not long after, they would be disqualified from owning that vast land. Among the people of the Jiang clan, most of them had worried expressions. Especially Jiang Yuaning, because after Kang Xinmu had left, there had been no news from him, which made her very worried. The people of the Jiang clan stepped into a restaurant. Inside the restaurant, there were many wandering dragon warriors. They were all excitedly discussing what had happened in Dragon Prison City. He. A few days ago, did you see the duel between the Shi clan and the Xia clan? Yes, I saw it. It was said that it was a battle between 2 young people. In fact, there was nothing much to see. The key was to use a dragon weapon as a bet. That's right. It was said that in the end, the kid from the Xia clan self-destructed, but the kid from the Shi clan survived. Sacred Dragon Shi Tao was so happy that he gave the dragon weapon to the kid. In the restaurant, there were people discussing the duel between the 2 great clans. A duel between juniors actually used a dragon weapon as a bet. The big clans of the dragon prison domain are indeed extraordinary. As the people of the Jiang clan passed by, they all felt the same way. A dragon weapon was a treasure of the Jiang clan. Only the patriarch had the right to use it. But in the dragon prison domain, it was used as a bet, and even given to a junior. It was enviable. But I heard that the kid from the Shi clan is not surnamed Shi. He's a kid from the outside. He just happened to save Sacred Dragon Shi Tao's 2 daughters. That's right. That kid is not even 17. He's already at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm and has the heavenly dragon blood essence. His luck is really good. Now that he has obtained a dragon weapon, his future cultivation will be smooth sailing. Not just that. I heard that Sacred Dragon Shi Tao wants to betroth one of his daughters to him. The people of the Jiang clan did not care much about these words. They never would have thought that the youth they were talking about in the restaurant was someone who escaped from their Jiang clan. Jiang Yuaning only heard these words, but did not pay too much attention to it. After all, the life in Dragon Prison City was still too far away for her. With her strength, it was very likely that she would be eliminated in the preliminary round of the clan martial competition this time. After all, she was only at the 8th tier of the Dragon Ascension realm, and she was only an inheritor of the true dragon blood essence. If not for Jiang Yilei's death, we would have a greater chance of winning this clan tournament. Jiang Fengqing said lightly. She remembered that when Jiang Yilei died, there was a person beside him. That person was Kang Xinmu. She did not know where he was now. If Jiang Yilei did not die, he would at least be in existence of the divine martial realm, which would be of great help to the overall situation. What she did not know was that if Kang Xinmu had not been forced to leave, he could be said to be the strongest person to awaken in the Jiang clan in the past 3 years. Especially after obtaining the heavenly sacred halberd, his battle strength had soared. One had to know that among the younger generation participating in the clan tournament, which one possessed a dragon weapon. None at all. In the last clan martial competition, Ji tribe's Ji Yeshuan, due to her high talent, had obtained the Ji tribe's dragon-grade dragon weapon. She completely crushed the audience, and no dragon warrior could contend against her. This time, Ji Yeshuan could not participate because she had awakened for more than 3 years. Chapter 39-26. Although the Ji tribal clan did not have Ji Yeshuan, because of the powerful battle results of Ji Yeshuan in the last clan tournament, the Ji tribal clan had obtained a lot more cultivation resources than the other clans. Therefore, in the past 3 years, the Ji tribal clan had produced a lot of geniuses. There were a total of 14 true dragon blood inheritors who had reached the god martial realm, more than double the Jiang tribal clan's 6. Among them, the strongest were the 3 sky dragon blood inheritors. One of the inheritors of the sky dragon blood essence was almost as strong as Jiang Liuxue, but the other 2 were already at the 3rd and 4th tier of the god martial arts realm. It could be said that in this year's clan martial competition, the Ji tribe was definitely a strong contender for first place. However, it did not mean that they would be able to secure first place, because there were still 2 other clans with equally strong overall strength. One of them was the Meng clan. The Meng clan had always been one of the strongest clans in the Dragon Prison domain. Although they were crushed by the super genius Ji Yeshuan in the last clan martial competition, their overall strength was absolutely not to be underestimated. Even without a super genius like Ji Yeshuan, it was very likely that the Meng clan would be able to obtain first place. This was because the Meng clan's territory was the largest. It was originally another dragon domain, but the dragon king of that dragon domain had died in battle and was taken in by the dragon prison domain as a clan. Compared to the Jiang tribal clan and the Ji tribal clan, the Meng clan had several times more dragon warriors. Under such circumstances, it was only natural that their overall strength was stronger. The other was the Zong tribal clan. The Zong tribal clan's overall strength was not as stable as the Meng clan, mainly because they did not have as many dragon warriors. However, the Zong tribal clan had the most geniuses. In the dragon prison domain, the Zong tribe had the most inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence. For example, in this year's clan tournament, the Zong tribe had a total of 7 inheritors of the heavenly dragon's blood essence participating in the tournament. 4 of them were in the god martial arts realm, and the other 3 were in the dragon ascension realm. Their overall strength was not inferior to the Meng tribe. In the clan martial competition, each clan has 20 slots to participate in the competition. They will choose the strongest dragon warrior that has awakened within 3 years. Basically, every clan will have 2 or 3 inheritors of the sky dragon blood essence participating in every clan tournament. But this time, the Zong clan actually has 7. Other than that, the Meng clan also has 4. The other clans have about the same number. The Jiang clan only has one heavenly dragon blood essence inheritor participating. What a joke, haha. Many people were discussing about the clan martial competition this time. To the dragon warriors of the dragon prison city, the clan martial competition wasn't a big deal. After all, compared to the dragon warriors of the dragon prison city, there wouldn't be any dazzling geniuses appearing in the clan. However, after all, it was possible for a super genius like Xiaofan to appear. Therefore, every clan martial competition was able to attract many people to watch. Among them, the major clans of Dragon Prison City would all come. For example, the Shi clan mansion, the Xia clan mansion, and a few other mansions would all send people over. If there were any talents, they could try to rope them in. Who knows, the other party might leave their original clan and choose to join the mansions here. In an instant, the experts of the various clans in the Dragon Prison domain who had awakened within 3 years had all gathered in Dragon Prison City. Kong Xinmu and Shi Yueying left the Shi clan mansion together. He had inquired about the location of the Jiang clan, so he wanted to go there and let the Jiang clan submit his name to participate in the clan martial competition. Originally, Kong Xinmu wanted to go alone, but Shi Yueying insisted on following him, so he let her be. After Xia Tianhan's duel ended, Kong Xinmu and Shi Yueying continued to spar. This time, it was no longer a simple self-mutilating training, but Kong Xinmu was familiarizing himself with the other dragon martial skills, including the sky-piercing dragon roar and the howling sky dragon claw. He had already comprehended these two dragon martial skills to the earth level, but compared to some of the experts participating in the clan martial competition, the 5th grade dragon martial skill of the dragon level was nothing. Many clans had 4th grade dragon martial skills, and the top geniuses were all able to cultivate 4th grade dragon martial skills. Moreover, those dragon warriors who had awakened 2 years earlier might have already raised their dragon martial skills to the dragon level. If that was the case, the gap between them and the earth level would be too great. Especially those experts who were participating in the clan martial competition. Many of the inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence had awakened 2 years ago, and were now at the 3rd or 4th level of the divine martial realm. Just by relying on their own strength, they were able to crush people like Kong Xinmu. Therefore, it was still very difficult for the current Kong Xinmu to soar in the clan martial competition. Even with the dragon-level dragon weapon, the heavenly sacred halberd, he was still unable to defeat the strongest heavenly dragon blood essence dragon martial artists. Therefore, Kong Xinmu was basically cultivating at all times while being chased and beaten by Shi Yueying. After Shi Yueying obtained the dragon-level dragon weapon, the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel, her overall strength had also skyrocketed. She was already able to threaten Kong Xinmu without using the heavenly sacred halberd. Therefore, she was able to continuously activate the dragon martial skill and coordinate it with the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel, completely injuring the current Kong Xinmu. Under such a threat, Kong Xinmu fled at his fastest speed, constantly activating the sky-piercing dragon shadow. Shi Yueying chased after him and attacked him with all her strength, not holding back at all. It even made Kong Xinmu feel the threat of being heavily injured. Under such a state, his sky-piercing dragon shadow improved at an extremely fast speed. However, even so, this dragon martial skill was still a long way from reaching the dragon level. I'm afraid it will be very difficult to improve it before the clan martial competition. Let's not worry about it for now. There are still 7 days before the clan martial competition officially begins. Let's get the quota first. The two of them walked towards the inn where the Jiang clan was staying. Coincidentally, at the entrance of the inn, 2 women walked out. They were Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Fengqing. They wanted to go out for a stroll in the Dragon Prison City. Seeing a man and a woman walking towards them, the 2 women couldn't help but be stunned. Why did that youth look like someone they hadn't seen for a long time? Yuaning, what a coincidence. When Kong Xinmu saw the 2 of them, he ignored Jiang Fengqing and only greeted Jiang Yuaning. In the Jiang clan, if Kang Xinmu had any friends, it would be Jiang Yuaning. As for Jiang Fengqing, Kang Xinmu completely disregarded her because the reason he was forced out by the Jiang clan was also related to this woman. Jiang, Kang Xinmu, it's you? When Jiang Yuaning heard his voice, she finally confirmed his identity. Her face immediately lit up. Chapter 39-27. Kang Xinmu introduced, her name is Shi Yueying, she's my friend. Shi Yueying was rather cold in front of outsiders. She only nodded slightly and did not say a word. When Jiang Fengqing saw Kang Xinmu and the girl he had brought, her eyes turned cold. Kang Xinmu, where have you been these days? Do you still think of yourself as a member of the Jiang tribe? Kang Xinmu did not expect her to speak in such a manner. He coldly snorted, what has that got to do with you? Then, Kang Xinmu turned to Jiang Yuaning, Yuaning, is Jiang Rong here? Yes, he's up there. Jiang Yuaning did not know why, but she was not in a good mood. Jiang Fengqing sneered, is the name of the patriarch something you can call? Since you don't think of yourself as a member of the Jiang tribe, why are you looking for us? Can you be quiet? Shi Yueying finally could not stand it any longer. She coldly said. Suddenly, an icy aura emanated, causing Jiang Fengqing to shiver. Jiang Fengqing was already at the divine martial realm, but in front of Shi Yueying's cold aura, she was still penetrated. A chill struck her heart, making her look aghast. One had to know that Jiang Fengqing was nearly 30 years old. And Shi Yueying was only 18 or 19. In the Jiang tribal clan, to become a dragon warrior at the age of 18 or 19 was already considered a genius among geniuses. Not to mention, Shi Yueying could already make her feel a chill, which meant that Shi Yueying's overall strength was definitely not weaker than hers. What was the identity of this girl? Jiang Fengqing did not immediately think of the Shi tribe, because an existence like the Shi tribe was too powerful and too far away. If Jiang Fengqing had caught the eye of any tribe in Dragon Prison City, she would definitely be willing to join them. After all, developing in Dragon Prison City, the cultivation resources and connections were much better than in the Jiang tribe. It was even more beneficial for her own development. So, she had never thought that Kang Xinmu would become friends with the Shi tribe. Jiang Fengqing finally shut up. At this time, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning could finally speak properly. Where have you been these days? What happened? Is everything all right? Jiang Yuaning was worried about Kang Xinmu, so she immediately asked. Not bad. Although we encountered some danger, we were able to turn misfortune into fortune in the end. Kang Xinmu briefly explained, then said, this time, I've come to find Jiang Rong. I want him to report my name and represent the Jiang clan in the clan martial competition. At the mention of Jiang Rong, Kang Xinmu's eyes flashed with killing intent. As his uncle, Jiang Rong actually wanted to kill him. It was really incomprehensible, so Kang Xinmu wanted to let him know that even a newly awakened dragon warrior was not someone he could casually bully. One day, Kang Xinmu would grow into a dragon and return to him, dragging him down from the Jiang clan patriarch throne. The clan martial competition was such an opportunity. The patriarch is up there. Follow me. Originally, Jiang Yuaning wanted to go out for a stroll, but since Kang Xinmu was here, she didn't want to go out. She wanted to stay with Kang Xinmu for a while longer. After all, as friends, they had not seen each other for a long time and had been missing each other. The three walked towards the inn. Jiang Fengqing turned and followed. She sneered and reminded them, the patriarch is currently receiving guests. If you go now, you'll be asking for trouble. She had already foreseen the scene of the three returning dejectedly. She felt disdain in her heart. How could the patriarch allow Kang Xinmu to participate in the clan martial competition? Kang Xinmu did not care about Jiang Fengqing's words. He wanted to fight for time to cultivate, so he came here today to settle the matter. Even if Jiang Rong was receiving guests, it had nothing to do with him. In any case, he came to find Jiang Rong to cause trouble. Yuaning, what are you doing? In a private room of the inn, a Jiang clan elder was guarding the door. Seeing Jiang Yuaning come in with people, he couldn't help but frown. Lord Patriarch is receiving guests. Didn't you say you wanted to go out for a stroll? Elder, Kang Xinmu has returned. He wants to participate in the clan martial competition. Jiang Yuaning said directly with a happy tone. Kang Xinmu? Jiang Zizai's son? Hearing this, the Jiang clan elder frowned. He turned his head and saw Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying. He immediately felt unhappy. Didn't he go missing? How strong is he now? He wants to participate in the clan martial competition. Peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm. Kang Xinmu said bluntly. The Jiang clan has a total of 20 participants. The weakest among them is at the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm. It's impossible for you to replace him. The elder directly sneered. I am at the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm. If Kang Xinmu wants to participate, he can replace me. Jiang Yuaning quickly said. No. The elder firmly shook his head. Patriarch will never agree. Kang Xinmu, go back to where you came from. You are not welcome here. Besides, Patriarch is receiving guests and has no time to see you. Kang Xinmu frowned. He had expected this situation, but he didn't expect it to be more difficult than he had imagined. He originally wanted to see Jiang Rong first, but now he couldn't even see Jiang Rong. Then take a look at this. Kang Xinmu said lightly and took out the Heavenly Saint's halberd. The halberd emitted a golden light and illuminated the entire inn's corridor. Dragon-level dragon weapon. The elder and Jiang Yuaning's eyes suddenly changed. Jiang Yuaning was pleasantly surprised. She didn't expect Kang Xinmu to have a dragon-level dragon weapon. It seemed that he had suffered a lot recently. The elder's eyes lit up, and greed flashed in his eyes. It really is a dragon-level dragon weapon. Jiang Fengqing followed behind them and was immediately dazzled by the golden light. Her eyes revealed desire and jealousy. How could a dragon-level dragon weapon appear in Kang Xinmu's hands? This kid, what kind of dog shit luck did he have? Patriarch, there's something I need to report. The elder suppressed his greed and quickly turned around, knocking on the door of the inn's private room. What's the matter? Can't you see I'm discussing business with a guest? Jiang Rong's voice came from the private room, mixed with obvious dissatisfaction. Jiang Longjun, if there's something, just go out and deal with it. At this moment, a graceful and luxurious voice of a man rang out lazily from the private room. This person should be the guest. But when Shi Yueying heard this, she immediately found it funny. Didn't this guy's voice belong to the supervisor of a chamber of commerce under the Shi residence? Usually, when he saw her, he would call her little princess. Chapter 39-28. After receiving the approval of the guest, Jiang Rong dared to come out and deal with the matters outside. What's the matter that makes you so flustered? How can you behave in front of a guest? Jiang Rong scolded the elder as soon as he came out, but before he could finish, he saw Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying in front of him, as well as the heavenly sacred halberd in Kang Xinmu's hand that was flashing with a golden light. This made Jiang Rong shocked. His first thought was, why would Kang Xinmu appear here? Secondly, the dragon weapon in that brat's hand was clearly a dragon-grade weapon. What was he planning to do by taking it out so brazenly? What's going on? Kang Xinmu, where have you been these days? You don't consider yourself a member of the Jiang clan at all? Jiang Rong's face suddenly turned serious as he coldly snorted at Kang Xinmu. You know what you've done. Kang Shinmu was expressionless as he said, "This is a dragon-grade dragon weapon. With this dragon-grade dragon weapon, I request to represent the Jiang clan in the clan tournament. What do you think?" Impudent. Jiang Rong's face hardened. "Do you think that you can participate in the clan tournament just because you want to? These days, you haven't been in the Jiang clan at all. We know nothing about your experiences, so there's no way we can trust you. If you want to participate in the clan tournament, there's a way to prove your loyalty to the clan. As long as you hand over the dragon-grade dragon weapon, you can naturally participate in the clan tournament." As he said this, Jiang Rong's eyes revealed a hint of greed. Although he was the patriarch and could use the Jiang clan's ancestral dragon weapon, there was no doubt that if he could have a personal dragon-grade dragon weapon, it would be a great breakthrough for him. The Jiang clan elder immediately prostrated himself in admiration. To obtain the dragon-grade dragon weapon from Kang Shinmu, the patriarch had actually thought of such a method. It was truly wise. If he didn't hand over the dragon-grade dragon weapon, he wouldn't be allowed to participate in the clan tournament. And since he was here, even if he didn't want to participate in the clan tournament and wanted to leave, how could he just leave like that? "Since you're here, don't think about leaving so easily." The Jiang clan elder snorted in his heart and began to prevent Kang Shinmu from escaping. He decided that once Kang Shinmu showed signs of retreating, he would immediately act and intercept him. "Yo, great clan chief Jiang Rong is so impressive." When Kang Shinmu heard this, he immediately sneered, "I want to participate in the clan martial competition to win glory for the Jiang clan and obtain more cultivation resources for the clan. Yet, you obstruct me in every possible way. Do you not place the clan's interests in your eyes? How can such actions be worthy of the title of Jiang Longjun? Is it up to a junior like you to tell me what to do?" Jiang Rong coldly snorted as a fierce light flashed in his eyes. "Today, you have to hand it over whether you want to or not. No matter what, since this dragon-grade dragon weapon is already in your hands, you have the obligation to hand it over to the Jiang clan. Let the Jiang clan keep it for you so that it can bring the greatest benefit to the clan." This high-sounding statement made Kang Shinmu unable to hold back his laughter. Shi Yueying, who was listening at the side, also felt uncomfortable. She frowned. This Jiang clan's clan chief, Jiang Longjun, was too shameless. It was said that Jiang Longjun was a peerless genius. He was even granted an audience by the Dragon King, but he later disappeared. Who would have thought that after 10 years, the current Jiang Longjun would be so shameless? He was a disgrace to the Jiang clan. "So, you don't plan on letting me participate in the clan martial competition, nor do you plan on letting me leave. Instead, you want to snatch the dragon-grade dragon weapon from my hands, right?" Kang Shinmu lightly said, directly making his words clear, "I'm afraid that even if you have the life to snatch the dragon-grade dragon weapon, you won't have the life to use it." Jiang Rong disdainfully said, "Do you think you can do anything to me? If you want to know the truth behind your father's disappearance, then obediently hand over the dragon-grade dragon weapon. Otherwise, don't even think of seeing your father again." "Oh?" Kang Shinmu frowned, "You know what happened to my father?" Shi Yueying became curious after hearing this. She didn't know what Kang Shinmu's family background was like, so now that Jiang Rong mentioned his father, she pricked up her ears to listen. "Hand over the dragon-grade dragon weapon and I'll tell you something." Jiang Rong coldly snorted. "You first." Kang Shinmu, of course, wouldn't be fooled. His father's disappearance was related to the black dragon's blood essence. If Jiang Rong knew the details, then it was impossible that he didn't know the details of Kang Shinmu's talent. Either Jiang Rong was lying to him, or Jiang Rong only knew the gist of it. It was naturally impossible for Kang Shinmu to hand over the halberd of Heavenly Saint. As a member of the Jiang clan, even if you are the clan chief, shouldn't you tell me about the disappearance of a junior's father? Shi Yueying coldly said, "If you act like this, what kind of clan chief are you?" How can you be worthy of the name, Jiang Longjun? What does the matters of our Jiang clan have to do with an outsider like you? Jiang Rong looked at Shi Yueying with cold sweat, his eyes filled with contempt. Just a little girl, did Kang Xinmu get to know her outside? The matters of our Jiang clan don't need you to care. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Otherwise, if we fight later, I'm afraid you'll be reduced to ashes. How impressive, to want to kill someone in Dragon Prison City. Shi Yueying suddenly sneered. At this time, there was no need for her reminder. The guest in the private room had already heard her voice. How could he still dare to watch the show? A slightly plump middle-aged man suddenly rushed out of the private room with a panicked expression. "Io, my miss, why are you here? You must be little brother Jiang. I didn't expect little brother Jiang to be from the Jiang clan. Sorry for not recognizing you." The fat man was the supervisor of the Shi clan's Chamber of Commerce, so of course he knew Shi Yueying. As the daughter of sacred dragon Shi Tao, a single word from Shi Yueying could make him, the supervisor, lose his head. He was completely dumbfounded. He never expected that Miss Shi Yueying would come to this place with Kang Xinmu to find Jiang Rong. Supervisor Shi, Yu, Jiang Rong and the Jiang clan elder looked at the middle-aged fat man respectfully facing Shi Yueying and Kang Xinmu. They were immediately puzzled. What was going on? "You, why aren't you kneeling down and apologizing?" The fat supervisor Shi immediately scolded. "What nonsense did you just say? Reduce the mist to ashes? If this gets out, I'm afraid you won't even see tomorrow's sun. Do you know who this is? Dragon Prison City, the miss of the Shi clan residence." Chapter 39-29. Jiang Rong never imagined that the cold girl in front of him would be the daughter of Dragon Prisoner City's giant crocodile, sacred dragon Shi Tao. Jiang Rong naturally knew of sacred dragon Shi Tao. Back then, Shi Tao had gone to the Jiang clan to settle some matters. Jiang Rong had gone to greet him with Jiang Zizai. Even Jiang Zizai, who had received an audience with the enslaved Dragon King, had to bow when he saw the sacred dragon Shi Tao. After all, Shi Tao could be said to be one of the 5 sacred dragon powerhouses under the enslaved Dragon King. In the enslaved dragon domain, he could be said to be second only to the enslaved Dragon King. How could a mere patriarch of the Jiang clan offend such an existence? If it were the Jiang Zizai of the past, he might have been able to develop the Jiang clan and become the #1 clan in the Dragon Prison domain after 10 years. In that case, he would have been able to speak equally with sacred dragon Shi Tao. But the current Jiang Rong did not have that qualification. Otherwise, he would not have addressed a tiny Shi clan merchant house's manager as an esteemed guest. "This eldest miss, I'm sorry. I had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended you. Please be magnanimous and forgive me." Jiang Rong immediately knelt down respectfully and apologized to Shi Yueying in fear. His words were extremely rude. Things like, "get lost" and "turn to ashes." If any of those words were to reach sacred dragon Shi Tao's ears, he would not be able to bear the consequences. He might even be killed on the spot. So, the only thing he could do now was to ask for Shi Yueying's forgiveness. Otherwise, he would be in big trouble. Ignoring everything else, the business deal he had just discussed with the esteemed guest would definitely be ruined. That was a definite consequence. If sacred dragon Shi Tao were to learn of it, Jiang Rong would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. Although the sacred dragon, Shi Tao, had no way of wiping out the entire Jiang clan, it could only be done if Qiandao King personally gave the order. But in Shi Tao's eyes, getting rid of a clan leader who did not live up to his name was still a relatively easy task. After all, Jiang Rong was nothing special compared to the other elders of the Jiang clan. Couldn't he just get rid of Jiang Rong and appoint a new clan leader? Therefore, Jiang Rong had to beg for Shi Yueying's forgiveness. Otherwise, he would be finished. The scene suddenly changed, and Kang Xinmu heaved a sigh of relief. This way, things would definitely be settled. It was all thanks to Shi Yueying's presence that he was able to help out. However, even if Shi Yueying had not come, the manager of the Shi clan's Chamber of Commerce would have recognized Kang Xinmu. After all, when Kang Xinmu and Xia Tianhan had fought to the death on the martial arena, all the important figures in the city had come to watch the battle. Naturally, this person had seen Kang Xinmu before. However, because of Shi Yueying's crisp voice, which was familiar to him, the manager of the Chamber of Commerce came out of the inn's private room ahead of time. If you want me to forgive you, it's very simple. From now on, you will listen to Kang Xinmu. Shi Yueying said coldly, if he wants to participate in the clan martial competition, you have to report his name, do you understand? Yes, yes, yes. As long as First Miss can forgive me, this is just a small matter. Jiang Rong did not dare to say anything. Since it's a small matter, why did you evade it just now? Shi Yueying revealed a displeased expression. Could it be that there's some irreconcilable enmity between you and Kang Xinmu? Of course, Jiang Rong did not dare to say this out loud. However, Kang Xinmu smiled, it's very simple. When I was in the Jiang clan, Jiang Rong wanted to hire assassins to kill me. That's why I escaped from the Jiang clan and came to Dragon Prison City. That's how I met Miss Shi Yueying. When Shi Yueying heard this, her expression slightly changed, and her killing intent surged. Jiang Rong, as the patriarch of the Jiang clan, actually wanted to kill a talented youth in the clan. What was the reason? Could it be that Kang Xinmu was hiding some sort of secret? Or could it be that Jiang Rong was abusing his position to avenge a personal grudge, and had a deeper level of enmity with Kang Xinmu? No, no. First Miss, how could I want to murder my own clansman? Absolutely not. Jiang Rong immediately raised his head and denied in fear. He could already tell that the relationship between Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying was not ordinary. Offending Kang Xinmu was offending Shi Yueying, and offending the sacred dragon, Shi Tao. Originally, he would never have thought that it would be like this. But now, it was clear that the relationship between Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying was not ordinary. In such a situation, no matter how much he wanted to harm Kang Xinmu, he could only suppress this matter. He absolutely could not reveal the slightest bit of killing intent towards Kang Xinmu in front of Shi Yueying. He couldn't even reveal his hostility, or else something might happen. That's right, Jiang Xinwu. Previously, I only imprisoned you in the back mountain so that you could reflect on the mistakes you've made. But you just left like that. Who saved you at that time? It must be that person who framed me. Jiang Rong said from the bottom of his heart, this clan leader has never thought of killing you. Jiang Xinwu, uncle once treated you extremely well. Up until now, your mother is still being cared for by uncle. You should be very clear about this. Can you cut the crap? Jiang Xinwu snorted coldly, even if we can forget about what happened in the past, why do you want to snatch the dragon weapon from me the moment you see me? As the Jiang clan's patriarch, do you even have the slightest bit of consideration for the clan? It's decided. Kang Xinmu will replace one of your Jiang clan members to participate in this clan tournament. Shi Yueying was still as cold as ever. She made the final decision, with his strength, it's not enough to make your Jiang clan lose face. Even Xia Tianhan from the Xia clan couldn't defeat Kang Xinmu with the help of the dragon-grade Ice Yuan Spirit Wheel. Kang Xinmu will definitely be able to defeat more than half of the experts in the clan tournament. Yes, yes, yes. How could Jiang Rong dare to have any objections? He only wanted to send Shi Yueying away as soon as possible. Whatever she said, he would do. He didn't dare to have the slightest bit of disobedience. Since that's the case, you decide who to let Kang Xinmu replace in the clan tournament. Shi Yueying continued. Let him replace me. At this time, Jiang Yuaning's voice came from the side. She had been watching from the side. She didn't expect Shi Yueying to have such a background, nor did she expect Kang Xinmu to know a girl of Shi Yueying's level. Moreover, the relationship between the two seemed to be very good, because I just awakened as a dragon warrior this year, my strength is the weakest among the original 20 people in the clan tournament. There's nothing wrong with letting Kang Xinmu replace me. Chapter 39:30. The matter was settled. With Shi Yueying present, Jiang Rong did not dare to have any dissatisfaction towards Kang Xinmu. Even if he did, he could only keep it in his heart, not daring to show it in the slightest. Jiang Rong was very clear that if Kang Xinmu achieved good results in the clan tournament, then he would have a strong rallying power in the Jiang clan, even surpassing the newly appointed patriarch. All of this was because Kang Xinmu's father was Jiang Zizai. If Kang Xinmu were to rise, then it would inevitably make people think of Jiang Zizai, thus increasing his power. However, Jiang Rong was also very sure that in this clan tournament, Kang Xinmu would absolutely not be able to reach a stunning level. Even if he had a dragon-grade dragon weapon, a dragon warrior at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm would at most be able to enter the top 100 in the clan tournament. That would already be very impressive. If he wanted to go further, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Jiang Rong had not only seen the clan tournament once, he had even participated in it himself when he was young. Generally speaking, the experts who entered the top 50 were all powerful existences of the divine martial realm, and the top 20 were basically heavenly dragon inheritors of the divine martial realm. It was not a place that ordinary dragon warriors could step into. Only existences like Jiang Zizai and Ji Yeshuan 3 years ago were able to dominate the crowd and suppress 17 clans without a single opponent. Therefore, although Jiang Rong was worried, he did not care too much. After all, Kang Xinmu was only at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. It was not very possible for him to achieve good results in the clan tournament and inherit Jiang Zizai's reputation. After sending off Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying, Jiang Rong and the Jiang clan elder heaved a sigh of relief. You are really courting death, humph. The Shi clan's Chamber of Commerce supervisor coldly snorted, if the sacred dragon Lord Shi Tao were to know about this, your position as Jiang Longjun will come to an end. I didn't know that this kid would actually meet the daughter of Lord Shi Tao. Jiang Rong said with a sad face, Lord, this time, I have to trouble you not to tell anyone. Our Jiang clan can give you a little more for this business. You know, he. Well, that's fine. The fatty stroked his beard and nodded in satisfaction. However, if the young miss wants to tell Lord Divine Dragon, I can't do anything about it. You can only pray for yourself. Of course. I can only pray for the blessings of the Dragon God. Jiang Rong nodded, his eyes filled with helplessness. He regretted not catching up to Jiang Xinwu back then and completely killing him, causing him to face such a dangerous situation now. He had, but he Jiang clan Jiang, and Tao. He had, Jiang, and not, Jiang, that he, and, not to. Fortunately, he still had a trump card, and that was the disappearance of Jiang Zizai. For this, he still had some clues. Although he did not know much, for Kang Xinmu, it was enough to be his final trump card. Originally, Jiang Rong had not thought of telling this matter to Kang Xinmu. But now, it seemed that he could only use this information to save his life. After all, he had offended the sacred dragon, Lord Shi Tao. Such an existence was not someone he could easily provoke. Furthermore, he had said such outrageous words to Miss Shi Yueying. Originally, Jiang Rong had not thought of telling this matter to Kang Xinmu. But now, it seemed that he could only use this information to save his life at this critical moment. After all, he had offended the sacred dragon, Lord Shitao. Such an existence was not someone he could easily provoke. Furthermore, he had said such outrageous words to Miss Shi Yueying. If the sacred dragon, Shitao, wanted to pursue the matter, Jiang Rong would definitely not have a good ending. Then, we will take our leave first. Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying walked to the entrance of the inn and bade farewell to Jiang Yuaning. Well, take care. I will wait for you to bring glory to the Jiang clan at the clan martial competition in 7 days. Jiang Yuaning smiled sweetly. I will do my best. Kang Xinmu nodded solemnly. Although he was only a little over 16 years old, he was already quite mature in his actions. He did not have the immaturity of a child and was worthy of trust. After Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying left, Jiang Fengqing appeared behind Jiang Yuaning. Her tone changed from arrogance to flattery. Yuaning, your relationship with Kang Xinmu isn't bad. Why didn't you ask to follow him to the Shi clan residence? It had to be known that many of the dragon warriors of the 17 clans wanted to take advantage of the clan martial competition to amaze the world. At the very least, they wanted to show some noteworthy merits and be recruited into the forces of Dragon Prison City. Now that Kang Xinmu had a close relationship with the young miss of the Shi clan residence, if Jiang Yuaning were to bring it up, it was very likely that she would directly enter the Shi clan residence. He has his own path and I have my own life. Is there a need to stick to him? Jiang Yuaning found it strange. What was going on with Jiang Fengqing? She had always been very arrogant towards her, but now, she suddenly seemed to be trying to please her. How about this, if you don't want to go, why don't you introduce me to him? Jiang Fengqing was a little expectant. I know that there was some misunderstanding between me and Kang Xinmu, but those were all small misunderstandings. Yuaning, if you are willing to help me, you should, forget it. Jiang Yuaning did not wait for the other party to finish speaking and immediately rejected him. There was no need to help Jiang Fengqing in such a matter. Moreover, the relationship between her and Kang Xinmu was not close to begin with. If because of this matter, it was very likely that they would become completely estranged in the future, then she would never forgive herself. Besides, Jiang Yuaning knew what kind of person Jiang Fengqing was. Even if he went to the Shi clan residence, what could he do? Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying left and walked on the streets of Dragon Prison City. Kang Xinmu, I heard you talking about your father just now. Is your father missing? Shi Yueying asked curiously. That's right, he has been missing for 10 years. Until now, I have been searching for traces of him, but to no avail. Kang Xinmu nodded and said. 10 years, the Jiang clan's legend, Jiang Zizai, has also been missing for 10 years. Could it be that he is your father? Shi Yueying's interest was piqued. She was usually cold, but now that she was with Kang Xinmu, she became a little lively. Especially when they talked about Jiang Zizai, she became very interested. That's right, it's him. Kang Xinmu nodded and admitted it. Ah, it really is him. You are Jiang Zizai's son. Shi Yueying was pleasantly surprised when she heard the affirmative answer. She originally felt that Kang Xinmu was extraordinary, but she did not expect him to be Jiang Zizai's son. No wonder he is so powerful. If he is Jiang Zizai's son, then everything is understandable. She originally liked Kang Xinmu, and now, with her admiration for Jiang Zizai, she liked him even more. Unfortunately, I can't find my father. Kang Xinmu shook his head. After the clan martial competition explains, I will let Jiang Rong tell me the clues about my father's disappearance, even if it is just a little. Yes, I will help you. Chapter 39-31. Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying held hands as they headed back to the Shi clan residence. There were still 7 days left before the clan martial competition would officially begin. They could still make the best use of this time to improve their strength. On the streets, many people saw the two of them and began to discuss softly. The duel between Kang Xinmu and Xia Tianhan had long since spread throughout the entire dragon prison city, becoming a hot topic of discussion among countless dragon warriors and citizens. What followed was the importance that Holy Dragon Shi Tao placed on Kang Xinmu. He even gave him a dragon-rank dragon weapon. It could be seen that he wanted to nurture Kang Xinmu as a genius. There were even rumors that Holy Dragon Shi Tao wanted to betroth one of his daughters to Kang Xinmu. From this, it could be seen how much importance Kang Xinmu received. Although he was only a dragon warrior at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm, his future was limitless. Many people in Dragon Prison City had even listed Kang Xinmu as one of the people who could not be provoked. Even if they could defeat Kang Xinmu, they could not make a move against him, because the Holy Dragon Shi Tao was too strong. Once they provoked the Holy Dragon Shi Tao, they would be in trouble. Just like Jiang Rong right now, he was in a state of panic, and it was very likely that he would not be able to sleep. Halfway there, Kang Xinmu suddenly discovered that there was a group of people in front of him. They seemed to be shopping, and the person in the lead was actually the genius from the Ji tribe, Ji Yeshuan. Although Ji Yeshuan was still young and was only a young girl, she had already awakened as a dragon warrior 4 years ago. Now that she had come to Dragon Prison City, she was the senior of the Ji tribe participating in the dragon competition, so she was walking at the very front. A conservative estimate was that Ji Yeshuan had already reached the subversion of the divine martial realm, and was only a step away from the nirvana tribulation realm. When he saw Ji Yeshuan again, Kang Xinmu felt a little awkward. Because last time, he had made an illusion of his own death, and he had not changed his appearance then and now, this Ji Yeshuan must have recognized him at a glance. However, he wasn't too worried. He was just a little embarrassed. After all, the other party couldn't do anything to him, not only because of his current relationship with Shi Yueying and the sacred dragon Shi Tao, but also because they were in Dragon Prison City. Even Ji Yeshuan couldn't directly attack Kang Xinmu. If they were to fight, Kang Xinmu was sure that he wouldn't be able to withstand a single attack from Ji Yeshuan. However, it was impossible for the other party to make a move, so it was fine. Anyway, in the previous matter, Kang Xinmu did not do anything wrong. Even if he survived, the other party had no evidence to prove that Kang Xinmu took the Qitian spirit grass and swallowed it. Even if he was sure that he had taken the Qitian spirit herb, it wasn't in Ji Yeshuan's hands at that time. It was in the mouth of the snow fox. The appearance of the dragon soul of Zhou had shocked Ji Yeshuan into a coma. As for what happened next, Kang Xinmu didn't need to explain. At that moment, Ji Yeshuan noticed Kang Xinmu walking with Shi Yueying. She was slightly older than Kang Xinmu, but she had awakened 3 years earlier than him. Naturally, she was much stronger than him. Now, she had become an elder in the Ji tribe, and her power was astonishing. "It's you." Ji Yeshuan furrowed her brows. When she saw Shi Yueying beside Jiang Shenwu, she seemed to have understood something. These days, she had heard that there was a duel between a young man from the Shi clan and Xia Tianhan from the Xia clan, with a dragon-level weapon as the wager. It was a huge bet, but she didn't expect that the young man from the Shi clan was the guy she knew. The guy who entered the Zhou Dragon's ruins with her, and whom she thought had died in the Zhou Dragon's ruins. After all, Ji Yeshuan wasn't Jiang Rong. She was smarter, and immediately recognized Shi Yueying's identity. "So you're called Kang Xinmu. So, you're from the Jiang tribe?" Ji Yeshuan led her people over, and stopped in front of Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying, asking arrogantly. If it was Shi Yueying, she wouldn't be so rude, but to Kang Xinmu, she didn't need to change her tone. "Yes, so what?" Kang Xinmu smiled lightly. "Actually, not long after I awakened, you saved me, and I haven't thanked you yet." "I don't remember such things." "Tell me, did you take away the Qitian spirit grass?" Ji Yeshuan's eyes shone, staring at Kang Xinmu, wanting to know the truth. Yes, thank you again. Kang Xinmu nodded in acknowledgement. There was no need to lie about such things. Very good. You're the first junior to remain unfazed in front of me. Ji Yeshuan smiled instead. She didn't think that she was about the same age as Kang Xinmu. After all, she had awakened early, and her strength was extraordinary. She was an important figure in the Ji tribe, and even Dragon King Qiu treated her with respect. She actually had a good temper, but Jiang Shenwu didn't have any deep interactions with her before, so he didn't know. If I'm not wrong, there's a lot of enmity between you and the Jiang tribe. Ji Yeshuan faintly smiled. I don't know why you left the Jiang clan, but now, since you came from the Jiang clan's residence, you must have gone to find someone. What, you want to participate in the clan martial competition? Yes. Kang Xinmu nodded. Seeing that Ji Yeshuan's attitude was not bad, Kang Xinmu was willing to interact with her. After all, she was a genius second only to his father, Jiang Zizai. There was no harm in interacting with her on the premise that she was friendly. Then we'll meet at the clan tournament. My Ji tribe's juniors aren't weak. You must be careful. The corner of Ji Yeshuan's mouth curled up, then she led her people away from Kang Xinmu and left. She's Ji Yeshuan. After Ji Yeshuan led her people away, Shi Yueying looked over curiously. She seemed to be quite curious about Ji Yeshuan. Yes. In desolate Dragon City, I was hired by her to help her chase a snow sky fox. Then something happened, and she took away the Qitian spirit grass that belonged to her. Kang Xinmu nodded, but now, it seems that she doesn't care too much about it. Qitian spirit grass. This is something worth millions, or even tens of millions of dragon coins. But with Ji Yeshuan's strength and reputation, she really doesn't need to go to war for it. Shi Yueying said with some worry, I just saw 2 inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood at the divine martial realm behind her. I'm afraid they're going to participate in the clan tournament. Kang Xinmu, you must be careful when you go on stage. Yes, I will. Kang Xinmu felt the concern in Shi Yueying's words and felt a little warm. However, at the clan tournament, he absolutely had to display his strongest strength. No matter what, he had to do his best. Chapter 39-32. Kang Xinmu and Shi Yueying returned to the Shi clan residence together. Then, an elder of the Shi clan residence came to greet them. The elder said to Shi Yueying respectfully, First Mistress, the master has asked me to invite Brother Jiang over. Shi Yueying tilted her head and asked curiously, What's the matter? That's good. The elder smiled and extended his hand. Little brother Jiang, please. I'll be going then. Kang Xinmu nodded at Shi Yueying and followed the elder to a magnificent building. Jiang Shenwu had heard of this building before. It seemed to be a place where many of the Shi clan's dragon martial skills were hidden. He could not help but feel puzzled. Why did Holy Dragon Shi Tao ask him to come here? No matter what, he could not disobey the order. Moreover, the sacred dragon Shi Tao probably wouldn't harm Jiang Shenwu. Soon, Jiang Shenwu followed the Shi clan's elder to the place where the dragon martial skill was kept. As soon as he stepped in, he saw the holy dragon Shi Tao's imposing figure waiting for him there. I just learned that Brother Jiang is Jiang Zizai's son. How surprising. Shi Tao came up and laughed. Third elder, you can go first. I want to talk to Brother Jiang. Goodbye. The skinny elder smiled and turned to leave. My father has been missing for 10 years, Kang Xinmu said. That's right. If not, Jiang Longjun would at least be on par with me now, or even far surpass me. Shi Tao nodded and sighed. Unfortunately, Jiang Zizai has been missing for 10 years and has not been found. Even the Dragon King feels sorry for him. Jiang Zizai has the talent to become the Dragon King. Dragon King, do you want the Yen Dragon Emperor Dynasty's Dragon Emperor to bestow it personally? Kang Xinmu asked. That's right. First, you have the Sacred Dragon's Legacy Blood Essence. After being enlightened by the Dragon Emperor, you can transform it into the Dragon King's Legacy Blood Essence, which is much stronger than the Sacred Dragon's Legacy Blood Essence. As Holy Dragon Shi Tao spoke, he sighed. My aptitude is limited, and I have no hope of becoming a Dragon King in this life. However, little brother Jiang still has a chance. Since he was able to evolve from a true Dragon Blood Essence Inheritor to a Heavenly Dragon Blood Essence Inheritor, it is not impossible for him to evolve into a Sacred Dragon. At the very least, the possibility is much higher than that of an ordinary dragon martial artist. Thank you, Lord Divine Dragon. Kang Xinmu smiled. He did not expect Shi Tao to value him so much. No wonder he was willing to give him a dragon-grade weapon. This was because he had his eyes on his future development potential. Especially now that he knew that his father was Jiang Zizai, Holy Dragon Shi Tao felt even more at ease. Originally, he was still a little hesitant about whether or not he should devote so much effort to Kang Xinmu. But now, he basically no longer had any doubts. 7 days from now, the clan martial competition will be quite dangerous. In the Shi clan's mansion, you can choose one of the 3 highest grade dragon martial skills to cultivate. Follow me. Since Holy Dragon Shi Tao was determined to nurture him, he wouldn't hold anything back. He could tell that Kang Xinmu possessed top-notch talent. Although he did not possess the Holy Dragon's Legacy Blood Essence from the very beginning, the possibility of him becoming a Dragon King in the future was still very high. This was because his inherent skill was strong enough. Although it was not like other innate powers that could be used to launch long-range attacks, it seemed to be able to unleash an extremely strong combat strength when combined with a body-refining dragon martial skill. All along, Holy Dragon Shi Tao had remembered Kang Xinmu's battles in his heart. He discovered that Kang Xinmu's inherent skill was strange, but this kind of inherent skill allowed him to surpass other dragon warriors of the same realm. With a stronger combat strength, Kang Xinmu would be able to have a stronger competitiveness. In terms of cultivation resources, he would be able to obtain them faster than other dragon warriors. In this way, it would naturally be easier for him to transform his own divine dragon blood essence. 3rd grade dragon martial skill. When Kang Xinmu heard these words, he was immediately dumbfounded. Previously, he had only used his Monster Hunter points to exchange for the cheapest magic crystal for a rank 4 dragon martial technique. His other dragon martial techniques were still only rank 5. Now, however, Shi Tao had actually gifted him a rank 3 dragon martial technique. Did the 3 words Jiang Zizai really have that much weight? Otherwise, why didn't Holy Dragon Shi Tao do this before? Why did he bring him to the place where the dragon martial skill was stored? Father, I owe it to you. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. No matter what, the clan martial competition was around the corner, and he didn't have much confidence. If he could successfully cultivate a 3rd grade dragon martial skill, even if it was only at the mortal level, it would still be able to increase his combat strength by a large amount. It would even allow him to defeat a dragon warrior of a higher cultivation level. Combined with the dragon-level dragon weapon, the halberd of heavenly saints, his combat strength would far surpass experts of the same realm. Thank you, Senior Holy Dragon. Kang Xinmu did not refuse and thanked him instead. There's no need to be polite. I once drank and chatted merrily with your father, Jiang Zizai. Even if it's for his sake, I still have to take care of you. Furthermore, your talent is high enough and worth nurturing. Holy Dragon Shi Tao laughed, then asked, Oh right, what do you think of my daughter, Shi Yueying? Although she looks cold, she's actually kind-hearted. Not bad. Kang Xinmu evaluated. If you like her, I am willing to betroth my daughter to you, Holy Dragon Shi Tao laughed. This, Kang Xinmu felt a little awkward and shook his head. Junior is currently focusing on cultivation and searching for traces of my father. I'm afraid I don't have such thoughts and will let her down. Not bad. Holy Dragon Shitao nodded. Then we'll discuss this matter after you find your father. I hope that after 10 years, Jiang Zizai is still alive. At that time, our father's generation will make the decision and witness your marriage. Now, choose a dragon martial skill. There are a total of 6 third-grade dragon martial skills recorded here. You can choose any one of them. Holy Dragon Shitao brought Kang Xinmu to the core of the building. After passing through several layers of defenses, they finally arrived here. There were 6 bookshelves, and each bookshelf only had 1 book, all of which were third-grade dragon martial skills. Then Junior won't stand on ceremony. Kang Xinmu bowed to Holy Dragon Shitao, then began to look through the 6 dragon martial skills. The cultivation of dragon martial skills was more about quality than quantity, so Holy Dragon Shitao only allowed him to choose 1. Among these 6, there are no body-refining dragon martial skills. Since that's the case, I'll choose an offensive dragon martial skill. It will increase its lethality and make it easier for the devouring power to corrode the opponent's body. Chapter 39-33. The dragon martial skill that Kang Xinmu had chosen was called Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation. Even amongst the third-grade dragon martial skills, it could be considered one of the most destructive dragon martial skills. Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation, any innate ability can be activated. Condense a Shadow Dragon Fang and attack the opponent. Its penetrative power is extremely strong. Kang Xinmu was very satisfied with this time. What he needed was a dragon martial skill with a strong penetrative power, and this Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation was just right. As long as he could penetrate the opponent's defense, he would be able to corrode the opponent's body with his devouring power and devour the opponent's flesh, blood, and life essence. To Kang Xinmu, this was a guarantee of victory. However, once this innate ability was used during the clan martial competition, he would have to be prepared to expose it to the public, because in the clan martial competition, the opponent was allowed to admit defeat. If the opponent admitted defeat and Kang Xinmu continued to want to kill the opponent, then he would be judged to have violated the rules and be disqualified from participating. This way, it was very likely that many of the participating dragon martial warriors would be able to escape from his hands. Then, he would reveal the fact that his devouring power could devour flesh, blood, and life essence. In this way, he would not be able to kill some opponents that he could not kill by surprise in the wild. Of course, if the effects of the devouring power leaked out, it wouldn't be a big problem. As long as he didn't leak out the effects of consuming the divine dragon's bones to raise the level of the divine dragon's blood essence, it would be fine. This was something that no one knew until now, even Jiang Yuaning, Shi Yueying, and the others who had a good relationship with Kang Xinmu did not know. Kang Xinmu did not plan to tell anyone about this, because this news was too dangerous. It was very likely that he would become the public enemy of all the dragon martial warriors. There are still 7 days left before the start of the clan martial competition. These 7 days are enough for me to successfully cultivate the Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation. Even if it's only at the human level, as a third-grade dragon martial skill, combined with my devouring power, it can still produce a very strong destructive power. As Kang Xinmu thought about it, he decided to cultivate this third-grade dragon martial skill. Then, he thanked Holy Dragon Shitao. You're welcome. From today onwards, you can just treat the Shi clan's mansion as your own home. Sacred Dragon Shitao laughed, not minding it at all. The third-grade dragon technique was considered the strongest dragon technique in the Shi clan residence. Since he had taken it out and given it to Kang Xinmu, it meant that he had completely approved of Kang Xinmu. Whether it was because of Jiang Zizai or some other reason, it showed that Kang Xinmu had been approved by the Holy Dragon Shitao. Kang Xinmu did not stand on ceremony. "Father, I'll borrow your light for now. After the clan martial competition is over, I'll force Jiang Rong to answer about your disappearance." Kang Xinmu thought to himself. His eyes shone with a bright light. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. Jiang Zizai's disappearance was related to the black dragon's essence and blood in his body, but he was not clear about the specific connection. He could not even make a guess. The situation was too complicated. Not to mention the unknown origin of the black dragon, it was a great secret in itself. It was very likely that Jiang Zizai's disappearance was a very small matter compared to the black dragon's blood essence, shadow dragon Fang transformation, Kang Xinmu began to cultivate. He constantly condensed the power of devouring. At the beginning, he was almost unable to condense the shadow dragon Fang, let alone use it to attack the enemy. However, as he continued to cultivate, he was soon able to condense the power of devouring into the shadow dragon Fang transformation. The penetrating power of the shadow dragon Fang was very strong. He called Shi Yueying over to spar with him, and then Shi Yueying activated the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel and combined it with her own innate ice power to condense a defensive barrier. His shadow dragon Fang transformation directly penetrated it without the slightest resistance. Kang Xinmu was very clear that if it was before, he would have to borrow the halberd of Heavenly Saint to continuously attack in order to shatter Shi Yueying's defensive barrier. Although he was the inheritor of the Heavenly Dragon's blood essence and Shi Yueying was only a true dragon, the young girl also possessed the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel. Furthermore, the power of ice in her body was unusual and not ordinary. To be able to shatter Shi Yueying's defense combined with the Ice Origin Spirit Wheel meant that Kang Xinmu's strength was already much stronger than before. Just by relying on the Shadow Dragon Fang transformation, he could surpass one level to defeat his opponent. With the halberd of Heavenly Saint and the Grade 3 Dragon Martial Skill, Shadow Dragon Fang transformation, I can definitely defeat the inheritor of the Heavenly Dragon's blood essence who is at the second level of the Divine Martial Realm. But if I meet an even stronger existence, it will be very difficult to resist. Fortunately, I have the halberd of Heavenly Saint. As long as I am not instantly killed by the opponent, I still have a chance to turn defeat into victory. Kang Xinmu pondered in his heart. Not only could the halberd of Heavenly Saint be used for attack, it could also be used for defense. Its ability was extremely strong. When it was attached to the magic crystal, it greatly increased Kang Xinmu's defensive power. Soon, 7 days had passed. The clan tournament of the Dragon Prison Domain was about to begin. Before this, there were already rumors that the youth who had just risen to prominence in the Shi clan mansion, the one who defeated Xia Tianhan, was actually a member of the Jiang clan. He would represent the Jiang clan to participate in the clan tournament. This news caused the clan martial tournament, which was originally not paid much attention to suddenly explode. In the arena where the clan martial tournament was held, nearly half of the dragon warriors had come to watch Kang Xinmu's match. This was because Kang Xinmu had obtained the halberd of Heavenly Saint and was highly regarded by the holy dragon Shi Tao. In an occasion like the clan martial tournament, it would definitely be very interesting if they fought. Because of this, even on the first day of the clan martial tournament, the holy dragon of the Shi clan, Shi Tao, and the holy dragon of the Xia clan, Xia Yan, had come to the arena to watch the battle. Both sides had experienced the battle between Kang Xinmu and Xia Tianhan, so they attached great importance to Kang Xinmu. I would like to see what kind of results this child can obtain in the clan martial tournament. Holy Dragon Xia Yan led a few important figures from the Xia clan to the spectator stands. They occupied an area and attracted the attention of countless people. This was the first time that a holy dragon expert had come to watch on the first day of the clan martial tournament. The clan martial tournament in the Dragon Prison Domain would last for about 10 days each time. Basically, only in the last 2 days would there be holy dragon experts coming to watch the battles to see if there were any talents that they could recruit. This time, because of Kang Xinmu's appearance, Holy Dragon Shi Tao and Holy Dragon Xia Yan had actually come on the first day. It was simply unbelievable. In fact, it wasn't just that. Because Kang Xinmu had affected the Shi clan mansion and the Xia clan mansion, coupled with the fact that he was the rumored son of Jiang Zizai, it caused the other Holy Dragon experts to have great expectations for him. They wanted to see what kind of strength Kang Xinmu had and whether he was worthy of the name Jiang Zizai. Chapter 39-34. Kang Xinmu followed the people of the Jiang clan to the arena for the clan tournament. Jiang Rong was very polite to Kang Xinmu, which was completely different from before. Divine Marshal, there are so many people in the arena today. It's almost the same as the last 2 days of the clan tournament. You can't let everyone down. Jiang Rong laughed. Jiang Shenwu couldn't be bothered with him. He just walked with Jiang Yuaning and chatted about some interesting things from the past. This time, he finally met Jiang Liuxue. He learned that Jiang Liuxue was now at the first level of the Divine Martial Realm. Jiang Liuxue, who possessed the Sky Dragon blood essence of the mysterious Sky Jade Fire Dragon, was the strongest person of the Jiang clan. But now, Kang Xinmu was confident that he could defeat Jiang Liuxue. Whether it was the dragon weapon or the dragon martial skill, he had a great advantage. Even in terms of talent, he had a great advantage. Because of Shi Yueying, Jiang Rong was very optimistic about Kang Xinmu. This had nothing to do with his strength, but his relationship with his backer. Now, Jiang Rong did not dare to have any improper thoughts about Kang Xinmu. But in fact, in the hearts of the people of the Jiang clan, Kang Xinmu was only at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. Even if he had a dragon-level dragon weapon, how could he beat Jiang Liuxue? Jiang Liuxue was a proud son of heaven. In this clan tournament, his goal was to enter the top 20. Only by doing so, could the Jiang clan have a place among the 17 clans, and not be at the bottom. All the people of the Jiang clan did not think that Kang Xinmu was strong. Although he had transformed from a true dragon blood essence inheritor to a sky dragon blood essence inheritor, they were unwilling to believe that Kang Xinmu could be better than Jiang Liuxue, whom they had spent all their efforts to nurture. They even felt that the 2 true dragon blood inheritors who had awakened 2 years ago were stronger than Kang Xinmu. After all, they had awakened for a longer time. Whether it was the cultivation of the dragon martial skill or other aspects, they had a great advantage. Kang Xinmu did not care about what these people thought. No matter what, in the end, he had to use facts to speak. For Kang Xinmu, he had to fight for a higher ranking for the Jiang clan. Only by doing so would he be able to convince the people of the Jiang clan and have the opportunity to pull Jiang Rong down from his position as patriarch. The first day of the clan martial competition, the preliminaries, begins now. The rules of the preliminaries of the clan martial competition were not a simple elimination tournament, but a lottery system. Every dragon warrior would have to participate in 5 battles, 1 point for every win, and 1 point for every loss. After 5 days of competition, the top 100 would enter the semi-finals. There were a total of 340 genius dragon warriors participating in the clan martial competition from the 17 clans. Among them, 240 would be eliminated in the preliminaries. For Kang Xinmu, the preliminaries were definitely not a problem. If our luck in the draw is good and we can obtain 5 consecutive victories, it will boost the Jiang tribe's morale and increase the Jiang tribe's overall score. Kang Xinmu thought in his heart. Soon, it was time for the preliminaries to draw lots. There was no need for every dragon warrior to go up on stage. As long as the patriarch of each tribe went up to the rostrum and received the bamboo lots, the results of the battles would soon be out. On average, every dragon warrior would fight 1 battle a day. In the 7 days of the preliminaries, there would be 170 battles every day. This was a large fighting arena that could hold 10 battles at the same time. During the semi-finals and finals, there would be a small number of fighting arenas. At the same time, the number of battles would be reduced. This would allow people to clearly see the strength and battle details of the dragon warriors and judge their respective talents. The results of the draw are out. Kong Shinmu, your luck is very bad. Jiang Rong quickly returned with the bamboo lot. He suppressed his voice, but there was a hint of schadenfreude in it. Among your 5 opponents in the preliminaries, 2 of them are very strong. They are the Meng tribe's Meng Tianqing and the Zong tribe's Zong Shijian. Both of them were genius experts who awakened 2 years ago. Meng Tianqing is an inheritor of the 4th tier of the Divine Martial Realm, and Zong Shijian is an inheritor of the 2nd tier of the Divine Martial Realm, the Heavenly Dragon Blood Essence. He might even be stronger than Jiang Liuxue. Meng Tianqing and Zong Shijian were difficult opponents for Kong Shinmu to deal with, but they were still within the range of what he could handle. He nodded nonchalantly, not worried at all. On the other hand, the people from the Jiang tribe began to discuss. They were quite excited about the bamboo lot that Kong Shinmu had drawn. They seemed to be gloating over his misfortune. Against Meng Tianqing and Zong Shijian, Kong Shinmu would definitely not be their match. He would most likely lose. Jiang Yuaning was very unhappy with these people. You are clearly representing the Jiang tribe. If you get a good result, they will receive more cultivation resources. But they only hope that you will be defeated. Damn it! Kong Shinmu smiled slightly. Don't bother with them. At this time, we can only use our strength to speak. He swept his gaze towards the Meng tribe and the Zong tribe. Meng Tianqing and Zong Shijian were looking at him with a sneer on their lips. It was obvious that they were looking forward to Kong Shinmu's match, and were very disdainful. Kong Shinmu had recently become famous in the entire Dragon Prison City. To be able to meet Kong Shinmu in the preliminaries was their good fortune. As long as they defeated Kong Shinmu, they were likely to gain the attention of the Divine Dragon experts in Dragon Prison City. They could then stay in Dragon Prison City and obtain the opportunity to soar. And now, they believed that they were much stronger than Kong Shinmu. Meng Tianqing, who was at the 4th tier of the Divine Martial Realm, although he was only an inheritor of the true Dragon Blood Essence, he had cultivated several Dragon Martial techniques to the Dragon level. He had put in a lot of hard work. Against a guy at the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm, even if he was an inheritor of the Heavenly Dragon Blood Essence, he was not afraid. And Zong Shijian, who was at the 2nd tier of the Divine Martial Realm, was an inheritor of the Heavenly Dragon Blood Essence. He was 2 tiers higher than Kong Shinmu. These 2 tiers of martial arts were very crucial. The Dragon Ascension Realm was also known as the Dragon Ascension 9 Transformations. When one's realm increased, the Dragon Warrior's divine dragon body would become stronger. Their speed, strength and other aspects would increase. And in the Divine Martial Realm, the Dragon Warrior's increase in realm would bring about an increase in their talent. After stepping into the Divine Martial Realm, every increase in realm would increase the Dragon Warrior's talent by at least 50%. Compared to a Dragon Warrior at the peak of the Dragon Ascension Realm, an expert at the 4th tier of the Dragon Ascension Realm would have double the talent. And Zong Shijian, who was at the 2nd tier of the Divine Martial Realm, had double the talent of Kong Shinmu. Chapter 39-35. Kong Shinmu's lot was not good, but the Jiang tribe's other contestants' lots were even worse. They had even drawn the strongest contestants from the Meng tribe and Zong tribe. There was a 4th tier Divine Martial Realm Heavenly Dragon Blood Essence Inheritor, and a 5th tier Divine Martial Realm True Dragon Blood Essence Inheritor, and so on. For a moment, the Jiang tribe side was filled with wails. But in fact, this was because their overall strength was too weak. Even if they did not meet the strongest, and only met some average dragon warriors from other tribes, it would be difficult for them to defeat them. There were a total of 100 people who could pass the preliminaries. In the entire Jiang tribe, there were probably no more than 3 people who could pass the preliminaries. During the preliminaries, no matches were scored. However, as long as one person passed the preliminaries, it would give the clan a point as a whole. The final score of the entire clan martial competition was based on the points of each clan. The higher the ranking, the more cultivation resources they would receive in the next 3 years. If they continued to be ranked last, then the tribe might face the danger of being banned. The first day's battle is about to begin. Jiang Shenwu glanced at his opponent on the first day. It was Xiaofan from the Tqiu clan. She was a woman, and her eyes seemed to be full of charm. She was the inheritor of the true dragon essence blood of the first level of the god martial arts. In the Qiu tribe, Xiaofan was not considered strong, so she was very distressed when she drew Kong Xinmu on the first day. This was because Kong Xinmu was rumored to be a genius youth under the sacred dragon Shitao. Although he was not even 16 years old, he had defeated Xia Tianhan, who was at the first tier of the divine martial realm. And at that time, Xia Tianhan had a dragon-level weapon. This made Xiaofan lose her fighting spirit. The people of the Qiu tribe encouraged her not to be discouraged. After all the rumors were just rumors. It was very possible that Kong Xinmu was not as strong as the rumors said. It was also possible that Xiaofan's talent could restrain Kong Xinmu. In short, it was impossible to admit defeat without fighting. The other people of the Qiu tribe also wanted to see what kind of strength the rumored Kong Xinmu had, so they encouraged Xiaofan not to admit defeat. At least, she had to force Kong Xinmu to use some powerful means. Xiaofan nodded and prepared to go on stage. Her eyes sparkled. She was full of curiosity about Kong Xinmu. She was looking forward to fighting him. In next to no time, along with the announcement of the clan martial competition's referees, the first round of 10 battles began. Jiang Shenwu and Xiaofan went up and looked at each other. Neither of them looked down on the other. Jiang Shenwu did not underestimate Xia Tianhan just because his opponent's cultivation base was the same as Xia Tianhan's. He knew very well that Xia Tianhan's combat prowess was considered weak among the dragon martial artists of the same cultivation base. Moreover, he had devoured Shi Yueying's 5 extremities mysterious ice energy, so he had a stronger resistance against frost innate abilities. He did not know what Xiaofan's talent was, so Jiang Shenwu did not dare to be careless. Begin. With the announcement of the referees, Kong Xinmu and Xiaofan transformed into their dragon forms. Kong Xinmu's black dragon form was hundreds of meters long. It was majestic and mighty. Xiaofan, on the other hand, was only an inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence. In an instant, he turned into a 300-meter-long green wind dragon. The natural talent power that represented the wind instantly roared out, forming waves of extremely terrifying wind blades that enveloped Jiang Shenwu's entire black dragon body. This is the power of a god martial artist. Their talent is strengthened and enhanced. Their destructive power is extremely strong. Kong Xinmu's expression changed slightly. Although Xiaofan did not have a dragon-level dragon weapon like Xia Tianhan, she had an earth-level dragon weapon. It also greatly increased her strength. Plus, Kong Xinmu did not have any special resistance to the wind talent. It led to a situation where her defense was broken. But immediately after, Jiang Shenwu roared angrily, and a purple magical crystal appeared on the body of the black dragon. In the next moment, he passed through his opponent's gale blade, activating the dragon technique, sky-piercing dragon shadow, and flew towards Xiaofan. The difference in strength between a sky dragon and a true dragon was very obvious. If Kong Xinmu got close, Xiaofan would definitely die. With a slight movement, her entire divine dragon body, under the influence of the fierce wind, glided around in all directions, making it impossible for Jiang Shenwu to catch up no matter what. Her speed was even faster than Jiang Shenwu's Earth-grade void-piercing Dragon Shadow Dragon martial technique. After all, Xiaofan had awakened a year earlier than Kang Xinmu. She was more familiar with the dragon skill than Kang Xinmu, and had more experience in using the dragon skill. Looks like this Kang Xinmu is nothing much. It took him so long to deal with Xiaofan. That's right. In the other battles, the strongest genius of the Meng tribe, Meng Chou, defeated his opponent in one move. That's what I call fun. Looks like everyone's rumors about Kang Xinmu are too exaggerated. This kid does not have the strength that the rumors say. You're wrong. He did not take out the halberd of Heavenly Saint. Otherwise, Xiaofan would have lost. Hee, too naive. Even Meng Chou could not use all his strength. But he still defeated his opponent in one move. That's called strength. At that moment, everyone was in a heated discussion. Their evaluation of Kang Xinmu was getting lower and lower. In fact, Kang Xinmu was only adapting to Xiaofan battle style and rhythm. He was also trying to use his devouring power to devour his opponent's wind talent power, so as to increase his own resistance to the wind talent power. Kang Xinmu had previously tried devouring his opponent's talent power, as well as the power within the body of the demonic beast. The dragon body's resistance to the power could be increased for up to 10 days, which meant that he could start devouring from now on. By absorbing and increasing his resistance, Kang Xinmu would still be able to enjoy it on the last day of the finals. This was Kang Xinmu's goal. As the battle slowly progressed, he continued to devour his opponent's talent power. This made his resistance to the wind power stronger and stronger. If he were to meet an opponent with the wind talent power again, it would be much easier. He did not have any impatience. He slowly confronted Xiaofan. Although he could not get close to his opponent, no matter how his opponent used the dragon martial skill or attacked him with the wind blades, he was completely unable to hurt him. On the surface of the black dragon's body, a layer of purple magic crystal was faintly discernible. It was like a layer of hard purple rock. Under the attack of the wind blades, there was a sound of metal clashing, but it did not move at all. Chapter 39-36. Kang Xinmu and Xiaofan battle was still going on. On the other arenas, the second round of battles had already begun. Quite a few people began to complain. The battle between these two was really too boring. If every battle was like this, just the preliminaries alone would take a month to complete. However, Kang Xinmu ignored the words of the spectators. He focused on devouring Xiaofan wind power. If this continued, Xiaofan would win. After all, she was in the god martial arts realm, and the talent power in her body was stronger. Soon, the power in Kang Xinmu's body would be used up, and then he would be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Unfortunately, before that moment arrived, Kang Xinmu finally chose to activate the dragon-grade weapon, the halberd of Heavenly Saint. Endless golden light burst out, and along with his rapidly flying black dragon, many golden halberds instantly formed, blocking Xiaofan path, stopping her from moving forward. Finally out? Xiaofan clenched her teeth. She already knew that Kang Xinmu had a dragon-grade weapon. Now that he used it, it was indeed effective, blocking her path. Then, a terrifying power swept over from behind. The gigantic black dragon's body suddenly bit down, smashing her dragon body heavily onto the martial arena. The black dragon's body, which was hundreds of meters long, was like an eagle that had caught a small snake, firmly pressing her opponent onto the martial arena. I admit defeat. Xiaofan knew that she had lost, but she was not disappointed. Instead, she was relieved. She had been chased by Kang Xinmu all this time, and was always in a nervous state. She was also constantly paying attention to whether Kang Xinmu was going to use his dragon-grade weapon. In the end, she found some clues, but she could not stop it in time. Or rather, she had no way to deal with the halberd of Heavenly Saint, so she could only admit defeat. I won, and I devoured a lot of wind power. My resistance to wind attribute talent power has increased by 30%. Kang Xinmu returned to his human form and left the arena. He was quite satisfied with the result of this battle. This Kang Xinmu has already used a dragon-grade dragon weapon in the first round. It's obvious that his overall strength isn't very strong. That's right. He has already used his trump card right from the start. It is basically impossible for him to win against Meng Tianqing and Zhang Shijian. Looks like this kid is just relying on the Shi tribe to flaunt his prowess. His true strength is nothing much. Many people began to discuss Kang Xinmu's performance. But Kang Xinmu did not care. He returned to the Jiang clan spectator stands. His first battle was over, and there were no more battles for the rest of the day. He could enjoy watching the battles to his heart's content. Kang Xinmu, are you alright? Jiang Yuaning asked with concern when she saw him. Don't worry, of course I'm fine. Kang Xinmu smiled. He was still very gentle to Jiang Yuaning. The other Jiang clan martial cultivators were very dissatisfied with Kang Xinmu's performance. He could have quickly killed his opponent and boosted our Jiang clan's morale. Why did he drag it out for so long? That's right. He even used a dragon-grade dragon weapon to defeat his opponent. He might as well give the dragon-grade dragon weapon to our Jiang Liuxue. That way, he would definitely achieve a better result. That's right, a dragon-grade dragon weapon. Such a treasure can only be used by the right person. Kang Xinmu, why don't you give it to Jiang Liuxue? That way, you will be making a contribution to the Jiang clan. Many people began to discuss the topic of the dragon-grade dragon weapon. Kang Xinmu's expression turned cold. The dragon-grade dragon weapon belongs to me. I'll handle it however I want. Do I need you to interfere? Alright, calm down. Watch the competition. Seeing this, Jiang Rong immediately stopped the crowd from continuing. After all, he did not dare to offend Kang Xinmu. Today is the first day of the competition. Take a good look at the opponents you will encounter in the next 4 days. The more familiar you are with your opponent, the higher your chance of winning. Do you understand? After being reprimanded by Shi Yueying, Jiang Rong's attitude was much better. But Kang Xinmu understood that it was all for the sake of the Shi clan residents. It had nothing to do with him. Because of this, he needed to participate in the clan tournament to prove himself, so that he could obtain enough power to pull Jiang Rong down from the position of patriarch. For Kang Xinmu, the first 3 days of battles were not stressful. The most important ones were the last 2 days, Meng Tianqing and Zhang Shijian. One was an inheritor of the 4th level of the Divine Martial Realm, and the other was an inheritor of the 2nd level of the Divine Martial Realm, Heavenly Dragon. Meng Tianqing is up. Kang Xinmu began to observe with narrowed eyes. Meng Tianqing's divine dragon blood was the same as his, a black dragon. But his innate ability was the power of death, which could gradually deprive the opponent of their vitality. However, the deprived vitality could not be used by Meng Tianqing himself. This was the difference between Meng Tianqing and Kang Xinmu's devouring power. But the key was that the power of death was a kind of shadow innate ability. It could be complemented by the dragon martial skill, which could display a stronger lethality. It was not like Kang Xinmu's devouring power, which could only be used to corrode the opponent's body. Meng Tianqing only used one move to defeat his opponent at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. Then he looked provocatively at Kang Xinmu, not putting him in his eyes. To defeat you, I don't need to use my full strength. Meng Tianqing stood on the martial stage and said to Kang Xinmu. Then he turned around and returned to the Meng tribal clan spectator stand. Good. Meng Tianqing, well done. For a moment, the Meng tribal clan's spectator stand burst into cheers. They were all cheering for Meng Tianqing's provocation of Kang Xinmu. This was because it boosted their Meng tribal clan's morale. Most importantly, it had completely suppressed the recent highlight of Dragon Prison City, Kang Xinmu. This allowed the Meng tribal clan to gain the attention of more divine dragon experts. As for the Jiang tribal clan, they could not raise their heads at this time. This made the Jiang tribal clan's opinion of Kang Xinmu even greater. Even when Jiang Liuxue fought and easily defeated a first-stage divine martial realm true dragon blood inheritor, it did not make people pay more attention to the Jiang tribal clan. After all, although Jiang Liuxue was an inheritor of the heavenly dragon blood, he was only at the first stage of the divine martial realm. His cultivation was too low, and it would be difficult for him to enter the top 20. In such an occasion, only the top experts would receive the attention of people. For example, the Meng tribal clan's super genius Meng Chou, and the Zong tribal clan's super genius Zong Feng. Just from the first battle on the first day, many powerful geniuses had emerged. For someone like Jiang Liuxue, it was simply not enough in the clan martial competition. It would be difficult for him to get into the top 20, let alone obtain a shocking result. Kang Xinmu watched the many geniuses fight on the martial stage. He could not help but feel his blood boil. Chapter 39-37. In the next 2 days, Kang Xinmu did not encounter any major problems. On the second day, his opponents were the inheritors of the true dragon blood essence at the second tier of the divine martial realm, and on the third day, they were the sky dragon inheritors at the peak of the dragon ascension realm. For him, they were all opponents that he could easily defeat. However, he chose to devour his opponent's talent power every time, and only when his strength was about to be exhausted did he use his means to defeat his opponent. The consequence of this was that every time he fought, he had to drag on for a long time, causing everyone's estimation of Kang Xinmu's strength to become lower and lower. If even such a weak opponent took so long to win, wouldn't it be impossible for him to be a match for Meng Tianqing? Although this guess had been made at the beginning, as the 3 days passed, more and more people thought that Kang Xinmu was not good enough. Even the holy dragon Shi Tao sometimes frowned, because he did not expect that Kang Xinmu would take so long to deal with such a weak opponent. Although he had not used the third-grade dragon martial technique, it was impossible for him to fight like this with just the dragon-grade dragon weapon. However, every time, Kang Xinmu had to wait until the last moment to activate the dragon-grade halberd of Heavenly Saint, causing each battle to drag on for a long time. Seeing this situation, Shi Yueying's eyes lit up. She knew more about Kang Xinmu than her father, the holy dragon Shi Tao. She knew that Kang Xinmu was most likely preparing for the last 2 days of the battle, but as for what he was preparing, she was not clear. She only knew that it should be related to Kang Xinmu's devouring talent power, but she could not think of anything more specific. Over the past 3 days, more and more experts had emerged. The genius dragon martial artists from the 17 clans competed on the same stage. On the first day, many people did not meet any worthy opponents, but on the second and third days, many battles on the fighting stage were evenly matched, and many genius dragon martial artists had revealed their true strength. It could be said that so far, there were already more than 50 genius dragon martial artists whose performance far surpassed that of Kang Xinmu. At least on the surface, they looked much stronger than Kang Xinmu. Unfortunately, no one knew that Kang Xinmu was only preparing for the upcoming battle. On the first day, I devoured the wild wind innate ability. On the second day, I devoured the fire innate ability. On the third day, I devoured some kind of dark innate ability. It just so happened to be useful against Meng Tianqing. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. He was now fully confident that he could defeat Meng Tianqing. Now that he had transformed into a black dragon, he naturally had a 30% resistance to darkness attributed innate abilities. His resistance was extremely strong, and any attack from his opponent could only have a 70% effect in front of Kang Xinmu. This was Kang Xinmu's greatest guarantee against Meng Tianqing. Meng Tianqing was the inheritor of the blood essence of a real dragon, who was at the 4th level of the god martial arts realm. Although the strength of his divine dragon body was not as strong as that of Kang Xinmu, his talent was much stronger. It was even possible that he could defeat Kang Xinmu in one move. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu now had a certain resistance to the shadow innate ability, so he did not need to be afraid of his opponent's sudden explosion. And as long as his opponent could not instantly kill Kang Xinmu, the final victor would most likely be Kang Xinmu. This was because during the battle, he could continue to devour his opponent's shadow innate ability of death, thereby increasing his resistance to his opponent's strength. This made Kang Xinmu not worry about his battle with Meng Tianqing on the 4th day. But no one in the arena knew about this. Even Shi Yueying could only roughly guess, not to mention the others. So in the arena, many people were discussing that Kang Xinmu would most likely lose to Meng Tianqing. As such, the Jiang clan's results would not be good. If Kang Xinmu lost to his opponent on the 5th day, Zhang Shijian, then he might not even pass the preliminaries. Everyone in the Jiang clan was worried. They wanted him to hand over the dragon-grade weapon, the halberd of Heaven Saint, so that Jiang Liuxue could obtain a better result. This time, even Jiang Rong could not be bothered to suppress these discussions. He allowed Kang Xinmu to be attacked by the other genius dragon warriors of the Jiang clan. Among them, Jiang Fengqing's tone was the fiercest. Jiang Liuxue's opponents are not very strong. If you hand over the dragon-grade weapon to Jiang Liuxue today, she will familiarize herself with it for 2 days. In the preliminaries and finals, she will definitely bring glory to our Jiang clan. You should think about our Jiang clan. Don't be so selfish. Even though Kang Xinmu did not want to care about these people, he had become extremely disgusted with them after being talked about like this every day. Today, he finally could not stand it anymore. He scanned the crowd and coldly said, "All of you, shut up. When it comes to selfishness, who can compare to you? The dragon-grade weapon is mine. If you want it, go get it with your own ability. Don't pester me endlessly." He had not said anything or made any noise, but now he could not stand it any longer. He could not stand this group of people from the Jiang clan. If not for the Jiang in his name, he really did not want to stay in the tribe. In the entire Jiang clan, the only people who could affect Kang Xinmu's heart were Jiang Yuaning and his mother, Gu Yuero, who stayed in Dragon City. Of course, there were still many decent people in the great Jiang Dragon City. It was just that the so-called genius dragon martial artists who came to participate in the clan martial competition this time were simply too outrageous. Yo, having a dragon-grade weapon is amazing. Do you have the ability to get a good result in the clan tournament? That's right, having a dragon-grade weapon but not even passing the preliminaries is a disgrace to our Jiang clan. The crowd continued to talk. Kang Xinmu could not be bothered to say more. Because his battle with Meng Tianqing was about to begin. It was only because he was no match for Meng Tianqing that the Jiang clan fellows dared to be so arrogant. In a moment, the truth would speak for itself. In the spectator stands, the 5 sacred dragon experts were all present. Among them, Sacred Dragon Shi Tao and Sacred Dragon Xia Yan were most concerned about the battle between Kang Xinmu and Meng Tianqing. After all, Kang Xinmu was an extraordinary person. He had helped the Shi clan win a dragon-grade weapon, causing the Xia clan to suffer heavy losses and lose face. I want to see how Kang Xinmu will perform against Meng Tianqing. Humph, Sacred Dragon Xia Yan snorted coldly. He was not optimistic about Kang Xinmu. Back when Kang Xinmu fought against Xia Tianhan, he had used all his skills and barely survived. Now, against Meng Tianqing, who was 3 levels stronger, it was impossible for him to win. In Xia Yan's view, Kang Xinmu had not made any progress in this period of time. Even his cultivation was still at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. Many people had the same view. Under the watchful eyes of countless people, Kang Xinmu finally stepped onto the stage. Chapter 39-38. Kang Xinmu did not waste any more words with his opponent. He transformed into a sky dragon, 1,000 feet long. He wandered in the sky of the arena, and his aura instantly suppressed Meng Tianqing. Both were black dragons, but there was a difference in size. Basically, Meng Tianqing was only half the size of Kang Xinmu. But looking at their innate powers, Meng Tianqing's divine dragon body was covered in a thick layer of pitch-black innate power. His entire body was filled with an aura of death. As the cultivation of the dragon warriors in the god martial arts realm increased, their talent power became stronger and stronger, which could be seen from the outside. When comparing the innate powers of both sides, it was as if one was in the sky and the other was on the ground. Just based on innate power, Meng Tianqing was at least twice as strong as Kang Xinmu. However, Kang Xinmu was not afraid of his opponent, because he believed that his overall strength was about the same as his opponent's. In addition to the power of darkness that he had devoured on the third day of the clan tournament, he had great confidence in dealing with Meng Tianqing. "Cut the crap, let's fight." Kang Xinmu coldly snorted and stepped onto the arena. The two black dragons faced each other, attracting the attention of countless dragon warriors in the arena. Although there were other dragon warriors fighting fiercely on the other arenas, there was no doubt that the arena where Kang Xinmu and Meng Tianqing were on had attracted the attention of all the dragon warriors in the spectator stands. In the Meng tribal clan spectator stands, there was a burst of cheers. "Meng Tianqing! Meng Tianqing!" The cheers rose like a tide, giving Meng Tianqing an aura of absolute victory. In contrast, in the Jiang tribal clan spectator stands, there was basically no one cheering. The only one cheering for Kang Xinmu was Jiang Yuaning. But her voice was completely drowned out by the cheers of the audience, and could not be heard at all. Many of the Jiang tribal clan's dragon warriors were sneering, as if they were waiting for Kang Xinmu to be defeated. Then they could further humiliate Kang Xinmu, and at the same time force him to hand over the dragon-grade weapon, in the arena. Since Kang Xinmu was facing Meng Tianqing, he had already forgotten everything except for Meng Tianqing. He only had one goal at the moment, and that was to defeat Meng Tianqing, a formidable opponent at the 4th level of the god martial arts realm. "Brat, die!" Meng Tianqing's pitch-black innate power suddenly surged and condensed into two pitch-black light pillars that shot towards Kang Xinmu. This was a grade 4 attack-type dragon martial technique. It was capable of condensing darkness-type talents and turning them into a beam of light to bombard the opponent. Combined with Meng Tianqing's death energy aura, it could often kill the opponent in an instant. Under the bombardment of the death energy, no dragon martial artist would be able to resist the corrosion and destruction of the death energy on their bodies. They could only use their innate ability to resist and disintegrate the opponent's attack. However, Kang Xinmu was not worried that his opponent would kill him instantly. Mana crystals. Halberd of the Heavenly Saint. Without hesitation, Kang Xinmu's body burst with golden light and a layer of purple mana crystals appeared on the surface of his divine dragon body. He actually turned around and collided with one of the dark light pillars. The black dragon body, which was hundreds of meters long, seemed to have broken through the darkness and broke through the dark light pillar. The golden holy light on the surface of his divine dragon body and the layer of purple mana crystals basically did not suffer much damage. Meng Tianqing could not help but be stunned by this scene. The many dragon martial artists on the spectator stand were also a little stunned. What kind of powerful defense was that? In the battles in the past 3 days, everyone had seen Meng Tianqing use this grade 4 dragon martial technique to kill his opponent in one blow and directly blast him off the stage with serious injuries. Therefore, countless people recognized Meng Tianqing's strength. Because of this, so many people felt that it was impossible for Kang Xinmu to defeat Meng Tianxing. After all, their impression of Kang Xinmu was that he would take a long time to deal with some weaklings. Naturally, he would not be as strong as Meng Tianxing, but they had just discovered a very important factor. That was, in the battles in the past 3 days, although Kang Xinmu took a long time to finish off his opponents, he was never injured. Previously, they did not feel anything, but now, after Kang Xinmu broke through Meng Tianxing's attack, countless people realized this point. That was, Kang Xinmu's defense was probably extremely strong. However, it is impossible to defeat Meng Tianxing just by relying on his strong defense. Meng Tianxing's defense is definitely not weak. That's right. Kang Xinmu took such a long time to deal with his previous opponents, and almost exhausted his strength. So, it is impossible for him to defeat Meng Tianxing. If he can defeat Meng Tianxing, doesn't it mean that this kid is already nature-defying? You should know that this kid is only at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. He has not even stepped into the divine martial arts realm. Everyone immediately started discussing, but still, no one felt that Kang Xinmu could defeat Kang Xinmu. Isn't it just a slightly stronger defense? Isn't it all because of that dragon-grade dragon weapon? On the Jiang clan side, Jiang Fengqing and the others were all unhappy. Seeing Kang Xinmu in the limelight, her mood reflexively turned bad. She had never thought that if Kang Xinmu could defeat his opponent, it would be a great encouragement to the Jiang clan. Humph, your defense is quite strong, but you still have a long way to go if you want to defeat me. Meng Tianxing sneered. He was also surprised that Kang Xinmu could block his attack head-on, but it was not his strongest dragon martial skill. It was just a very ordinary attack. Although it was a grade 4 dragon martial skill, it had only been cultivated to the earth grade. A grade 5 dragon martial skill cultivated to the dragon grade could easily crush this attack. Then, he saw that Kang Xinmu did not seem to have any intention of dodging. His entire divine dragon body suddenly rose up, bringing with it the pitch-black power of death. Unexpectedly, it exploded into a black tornado that connected the heavens and the earth. This black tornado suddenly swept towards Kang Xinmu's direction. The aura of death instantly enveloped the entire arena. Even the dragon warriors outside the arena could feel the terrifying power contained in this black tornado. If you have the ability, try rushing in again. Meng Tianxing's face was full of disdain as he coldly snorted at Kang Xinmu. He knew that Kang Xinmu most likely would not rush in. Otherwise, wouldn't that be courting death? This was a dragon martial skill that he had cultivated to the dragon grade. Its destructive power was extremely terrifying. Coupled with his cultivation of the 4th tier of the divine martial arts realm, he could instantly kill an ordinary heavenly dragon inheritor at the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm. If Kang Xinmu rushed in, it would be exactly what he wanted. It would be too stupid. However, what he didn't expect was that Jiang Xinwu only took a glance at the black tornado and estimated its destructive power. A glimmer of light appeared in his eyes, and the devouring power covered his entire body. The purple magical crystal appeared again. Devour! Kang Xinmu roared in his heart. His entire divine dragon body rushed into the black tornado. Chapter 39-39. No one had expected that Kang Xinmu would actually rush straight into the black tornado. Wasn't that courting death? Meng Tianxing was a powerful existence at the 4th level of the divine martial realm. His talent had been raised to a level that was difficult for Jiang Lushi to resist. This black tornado was a death tornado, and it was a 4th grade dragon martial skill that he had cultivated to the dragon level. Would Jiang Xinwu be able to withstand such a move and imposing manner? Danger! Jiang Yuaning stood up from the spectator stand, her body trembling. She was nervous for Kang Xinmu's safety. He's really courting death. Jiang Fengqing and the other dragon warriors of the Jiang clan all sneered. They didn't believe that Jiang Shenwu would be able to withstand the black tornado-like attack. It was very likely that Jiang Shenwu would die on the martial stage. If that happened, Jiang Liuxue might have a chance to obtain the dragon-grade dragon weapon. Jiang Rong's palms were sweating. He had hoped to see Kang Xinmu die in the arena. That way, the conflict between him and the Shi clan would be resolved, and his position as patriarch would be more secure. But he felt that Kang Xinmu was unlikely to die. Because all along, Kang Xinmu had been too outstanding. From the beginning of the Jiang clan's training, Kang Xinmu's performance had been outstanding. Originally, he thought that Jiang Yuaning had led Kang Xinmu to obtain such a good result. But now, it seemed that it was the other way around. Kang Xinmu, who had just awakened as a dragon warrior, was already so terrifying. What about now? Although his opponent, Meng Tianqing, was very powerful, and Jiang Rong did not think that Kang Xinmu was Meng Tianqing's match. But now, when he saw Jiang Shenwu taking the initiative to charge into the pitch-black whirlwind of death, a sense of fear arose in his heart for no reason. He felt that since Jiang Shenwu had chosen to charge in himself, he was most likely confident. Otherwise, why would he take the initiative to throw away his life like this? Only Jiang Liuxue's clear and cold face remained expressionless from the very beginning. When the surrounding dragon warriors of the Jiang clan said that they wanted Kang Xinmu to hand over the dragon-grade weapon to her, she did not even glance at the people around her. Instead, she was carefully observing the many experts fighting on the arena. She was making inferences about other things from one instance. Her main goal was to observe the opponent she was about to meet, so that she could obtain victory in the following battles. Now, seeing that Kang Xinmu had taken the initiative to barge into Meng Tianqing's pitch-black death tornado, she was a little surprised, but she didn't show any special expression. In her heart, she didn't think that Kang Xinmu would lose to Meng Tianqing. She had a feeling that Kang Xinmu's current strength was definitely not weaker than hers. In fact, he was much stronger than her. The long battle in the past 3 days should have some special purpose. Meng Tianqing. Meng Tianqing. The people of the Meng tribe and the dragon warriors in the spectator stands were already roaring in excitement. Seeing Kang Xinmu charge into the black tornado, they all felt that Kang Xinmu was doomed. This was because the death tornado contained an aura of death. Once it entered the divine dragon's body, it would cause the divine dragon's body to rot. The Shi clan, Xia clan, and other divine dragon warriors in the spectator stands, as well as the 2 girls, Shi Yueying and Shi Yutong, all had different expressions. Seeing Kang Xinmu charge into the black tornado, the crowd instantly tensed up. The tens of thousands of dragon warriors were all focused on Kang Xinmu. Some hoped that he would survive, but most hoped that he would die. However, as some people thought, since Kang Xinmu took the initiative to charge into the black tornado, he naturally had absolute confidence. The devouring power enveloped his divine dragon body, constantly devouring the power of the black tornado around him. It weakened the innate death power that could touch his divine dragon body to the extreme. Under the protection of the heavenly sacred halberd's golden light, the innate death power around him was constantly weakened. Magic crystals constantly condensed on the surface of his body. While they were constantly being eroded by the innate death power, they were constantly recovering. In the process of devouring his opponent's innate death power, Kang Xinmu's resistance to this power was constantly increasing. It became easier and easier for him to resist the black tornado. In the center of the black tornado, no one in the spectator stands could see what was happening. But Meng Tianqing gradually felt that something was wrong. He was able to control the power within this pitch-black tornado. He could sense that when Jiang Shenwu charged into the pitch-black tornado, the power of the entire tornado was in the process of being continuously weakened. On one hand, the attack did not cause any damage to Kang Xinmu. On the other hand, Kang Shinmu seemed to be using some kind of method to devour his power. Right, this kid's innate ability is the devouring power. He can devour the power of other dragon warriors. Meng Tianxing thought of the rumors he had heard before and finally started to pay attention to Kang Shinmu. Originally, he did not take Kang Shinmu seriously. Hence, he did not specially study Kang Shinmu's means. Now that he thought about it, he felt that this kid was very strange. The black tornado that Kang Shinmu used was a dragon grade 4 dragon martial technique. If it could not do anything to Kang Shinmu, then he would really have to exhaust the power in Kang Shinmu's body to defeat him. However, it doesn't matter if you exhaust it. No matter how strong your defense is, the stronger my attack, the faster I can exhaust the power in your body. Meng Tianxing raised his hand, and the pitch-black innate death power that filled the sky condensed again. It turned into more black tornadoes that descended from the sky and directly blasted into the original black tornado. As a supplement, they swept towards Kang Shinmu endlessly. The aura of death almost completely enveloped Kang Shinmu. In the black tornado, Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body could no longer be seen. Only the violent tornadoes formed by the innate death power were left, sweeping the entire area. Powerful, so powerful. Kang Shinmu gritted his teeth. His 300 zhang long black dragon body soared in the black tornado. Even the golden light formed by the heavenly saint's halberd was drowned by the darkness and death power. The purple demonic crystal on his body was constantly eroded and condensed again. At this time, Kang Shinmu began to consume the heavenly demon's monster core that he had prepared in advance. Just like when he faced Xia Tianhan's self-explosion, he could not hold on much longer. However, as long as he devoured the power in the monster core, he could hold on for a longer time. Then, he would use this time to continuously devour the pitch-black innate death power and strengthen his resistance against it. The innate power of a dragon warrior in the divine martial realm was very strong, but Kang Shinmu could increase his resistance against this power by devouring it. This was his greatest advantage. Chapter 39-40. During the process of the clan martial competition, it was forbidden to take any elixirs. But the demon core was not included. No one had ever been able to use the demon core to increase their battle strength, so there was no such rule. Therefore, even if Kang Shinmu was discovered, he did not need to be afraid of being punished. He swallowed the demon core of the sky demon, and the power of devouring transformed the power of heaven in the demon core into pure energy, which constantly helped to heal his injuries, and made the purple magic crystal on the surface of his divine dragon body constantly regenerate. In this way, even the violent pitch-black tornado could not cause any fatal damage to Kang Shinmu. In the process of continuous regeneration, Kang Shinmu's resistance to the innate power of death became stronger and stronger. Gradually, the death storm was unable to cause any harm to him. The golden light of the heavenly sacred halberd once again penetrated through the pitch-black tornado, appearing in the eyes of the many dragon martial artists in the spectator stands. This scene caused many people to be shocked. Originally, the pitch-black tornado had completely submerged Kang Shinmu, and now the golden light appeared again. What did this mean? Could it be that even so, it was still unable to kill that kid? On the entire martial arena, almost everyone stood up and stared unblinkingly at the arena. They watched as the pitch-black tornado continued to weaken and disperse, until Kang Shinmu's 100 zhang-long black dragon body suddenly rushed out from the crowd. At this moment, Kang Shinmu once again saw the sky. In front of him, the 4 zhang-long black dragon Meng Tianxing had already become a defeated opponent, and could no longer be his opponent. Even though the opponent's martial arts realm had reached the 4th level of the divine martial realm, and his innate power was several times stronger, Kang Shinmu's resistance to the innate power of death had almost reached the limit. After devouring such a dense whirlwind of death power, none of the opponent's dragon martial skills could cause too much of a threat to Kang Shinmu. Even the opponent's killing move could no longer kill Kong Shinmu. Sky-piercing dragon shadow. Kong Shinmu's figure turned, and his entire black dragon body sped through the air, instantly rushing towards Meng Tianqing. Courting death. Although Meng Tianqing was surprised that Kong Shinmu could break through his death storm, he did not know the specifics. He still did not think that Kong Shinmu was a match for him. He let out a cold snort, and the pitch-black color on his body suddenly increased. It was actually an earth-grade dragon weapon. It had fused with his innate power of death, and formed a pitch-black dragon claw that grabbed at Kong Shinmu. Sky Saint Halberd, break! Kong Shinmu immediately bellowed. The heavenly Saint Halberd transformed into a boundless golden light that pierced through the air in the blink of an eye, blocking the pitch-black dragon claws. On the martial stage, violent energy exploded. Golden light and black light collided fiercely, and the distance between the two black dragons continued to shrink. Occasionally, a pitch-black dragon claw fell on Kong Shinmu, but Meng Tianqing found that Kong Shinmu did not dodge, and let the black dragon claw fall on him. Originally, Meng Tianqing hoped that this round of attacks could seriously injure Kong Shinmu. But soon, he found that when his black dragon claw fell on Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body, it did not even leave a scratch. It was all blocked by the purple magic crystal. Is that a body-tempering dragon martial skill? This guy. Meng Tianqing gritted his teeth, and his entire black dragon body suddenly moved. With a flick of his dragon tail, a pitch-black death storm condensed again, and his entire black dragon body actually disappeared in this pitch-black storm, disappearing in front of everyone. Originally, Meng Tianqing used the pitch-black death force to condense a storm tornado to attack Kong Shinmu, but now, he used this move to protect himself, so that Kong Shinmu could not find his exact position. Kill! With a golden light, Kong Shinmu's black dragon body rushed into the pitch-black tornado. He did not manage to catch Meng Tianqing's divine dragon body, but immediately after, a terrifying pitch-black beam of light suddenly swept up from below, taking advantage of him being unprepared. The innate death force fused with the pitch-black earth-level dragon weapon, and the terrifying power almost penetrated Kong Shinmu's entire divine dragon body. Fortunately, Kong Shinmu's resistance to the innate death force was strong enough, and did not die from this blow. Instead, he took the opportunity to grasp the opponent's position, and with a flick of his tail, he suddenly rushed down. Roaring Sky Dragon Claw. The dragon martial skill that carried the golden light of the heavenly sacred halberd fell heavily, instantly grabbing the black dragon body that Meng Tianqing had transformed into, and the terrifying force smashed Meng Tianqing heavily into the martial arena. The pitch-black death tornado was smashed into pieces in an instant, and the bodies of two black dragons appeared in the martial arena, once again reflected in the eyes of the many dragon martial artists in the spectator stands. Caught! Meng Tianqing has been caught. Could it be that he really is not a match for Kong Shinmu? Too scary, too scary. Many dragon martial artists were completely shocked, stunned by the situation in the martial arena. No matter what, they did not expect that Kong Shinmu would be so fierce, to be able to suppress Meng Tianqing to this extent. Most importantly, this kid had been fighting head-on since the beginning of the martial arena. No matter what kind of dragon martial skill it was, he would face it head-on, without the slightest fear. This kind of brave and vigorous momentum infected all the dragon martial artists in the martial arena. Even those who originally looked down on Kong Shinmu, thought that Kong Shinmu would be defeated, and even hoped that he would die in the martial arena, were now completely shocked. They never thought that a battle between dragon martial artists could be so hot-blooded, and they actually fought with their flesh and blood. On Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body, there was a big bloody hole that kept flowing dragon blood, but he did not care at all. Shadow. Dragon Fang Transformation. Kong Shinmu smashed Meng Tianqing heavily on the martial arena, causing him to feel dizzy. In the next moment, the third-grade dragon martial skill that Kang Xinmu had just successfully cultivated was finally executed. The devouring power turned into one shadow-sharp dragon fang after another, raining down on Meng Tianqing like a torrential rain. Scram! Meng Tianqing was now furious. He did not expect that he would be so humiliated by dealing with a mere Kang Xinmu. How could the gap between a true dragon and a sky dragon be so huge? The innate death energy in his body skyrocketed, and the earth-grade dragon weapon was also pushed to its limit. Layers of innate death energy barriers enveloped his divine dragon body, blocking the razor-sharp dragon fangs. In the next moment, the shadow dragon fang transformation landed on his opponent's defensive dragon martial skill barrier. At the same time, the golden light from the heavenly sacred halberd continued to fall, forming golden halberds. Accompanied by the shadow dragon fang transformation, golden meteors rained down, bombarding Meng Tianqing's body. Tyrannical energy collided, the power of death and the power of devouring exploded, forming a terrifying energy vortex on the martial arena. Chapter 39-41. Meng Tianqing's defense had finally been broken. The current situation could be described as Meng Tianqing being pinned to the ground by Kang Xinmu. Meng Tianqing, who had been so awe-inspiring at the start, was now powerless to fight back. Although Kang Xinmu's black dragon body was bleeding, he had completely suppressed Meng Tianqing, making it impossible for him to turn the tables. At this moment, all the dragon martialists in the spectator stands were silent. In the spectator stands of the Shi clan, Shi Yueying and Shi Yutong clasped their hands tightly, their clear eyes filled with joy. Although they had great faith in Kang Xinmu, they could not help but worry for Kang Xinmu when they saw Meng Tianqing's ferocious display in the martial arena. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu had managed to turn the tables and defeat Meng Tianqing in the end. I admit defeat. The moment Meng Tianqing admitted defeat, the entire arena fell silent. In the spectator stands of the Xia clan, sacred dragon Xia Yan snorted coldly. Trash. He had originally thought that Meng Tianqing would be able to defeat Kang Xinmu. He had not expected that the kid would be pinned to the ground by Kang Xinmu. This was truly disappointing. This made Kang Xinmu's reputation even stronger, which did not benefit the Xia clan at all. However, sacred dragon Shi Tao of the Shi clan chuckled and narrowed his eyes. He was very satisfied with Kang Xinmu's performance. In a situation where everyone had expected him to lose to Meng Tianqing, Kang Xinmu had actually managed to turn the tables in such a manner. Even Shi Tao's blood had been stirred up. The sacred dragon martialists of the other three mansions were discussing something with the people in their respective mansions as they pointed at Kang Xinmu. They were discussing Kang Xinmu's strength. After all, after this person's rise, it was very likely that he would become a fierce member of the Shi clan and their respective competitors. If one sacred dragon mansion became stronger, it would suppress the other sacred dragon mansions. Hence, the other four sacred dragon mansions were unwilling to see Kang Xinmu's rise. Fortunately, Jiang Shenwu had only killed an inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence. No matter how early Meng Tianqing had awakened, he was still only an inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence. Compared to the inheritors of the heavenly dragon, there was indeed an inherent disadvantage. Even though Meng Tianqing had reached the fourth stage of the divine martial arts realm, it was understandable that he could not defeat the sky dragon inheritor. On the Jiang clan spectator stand, Jiang Yuaning revealed a look of joy. Kang Xinmu had finally won, and he had won beautifully. Although he was injured, Meng Tianqing was no longer as powerful as before. If he had not admitted defeat early, he would have been killed by Kang Xinmu on the spot. Obviously, Kang Xinmu had the ability to kill Meng Tianqing. The other people of the Jiang clan did not speak. Jiang Fengqing, who had been clamoring for Kang Xinmu to hand over the halberd of Heavenly Saint, now looked as if she had eaten feces. Her face was flushed red, and she could not believe what had happened. The kid she had always looked down on, Kang Xinmu, had actually defeated Meng Tianxing, who was at the 4th stage of the divine martial arts realm. It should be known that even if Jiang Liuxue were to step up, it would be extremely difficult for him to deal with Meng Tianxing. Yet, Jiang Xinwu had actually used such a ferocious method to defeat him. From this, it could be seen that Jiang Xinwu's strength was completely on par with Jiang Liuxue's. Of course, Jiang Fengqing still looked down on Kang Xinmu. She sneered, "It's just the advantage of a dragon weapon. What's there to be proud of?" Jiang Liuxue did not participate in the crusade against Kang Xinmu. Her focus was completely different from the rest of the Jiang clan. What she wanted was the rise of strength, so she paid close attention to the battle. As for what happened to Kang Xinmu, it had nothing to do with her. Of course, she would also pay attention to Jiang Xinwu's battle, but the reason was that it was very likely that she would meet Jiang Xinwu on the martial arena. In this case, only by knowing oneself and knowing the enemy could one emerge victorious in 100 battles. In the Meng tribal clan's spectator stands, everyone was surprised that Meng Tianxing had lost. But this did not affect their view of Kang Xinmu. Even if he defeated Meng Tianxing, he's just a kid at the Dragon Ascension realm. He only defeated Meng Tianxing by relying on the dragon weapon and the Sky Dragon's blood essence. That's right. Meng Tianxing's strength is only considered average among us. Any one of the bosses can crush this Kang Xinmu. It's only in the preliminaries that this kid can flaunt his prowess. When it comes to the semi-finals and finals, this kid will be quickly eliminated. The Meng tribal clan had the strongest overall strength among the 17 tribes. Their average strength was at Meng Tianxing's level, not to mention their strongest warriors. Meng Tianxing, don't worry. If we meet that kid in the semi-finals, I'll avenge you. A bearded man patted Meng Tianxing on the shoulder as he returned to the spectator stands. Thank you, brother Meng Chou. Meng Tianxing was slightly injured, but not seriously. Sorry, I've embarrassed the Meng tribal clan. Don't mention it. Meng Chou laughed, don't worry, our Meng tribal clan will eventually take first place. We don't need to care about the bottom-ranked Jiang tribal clan. Meng Chou was the strongest warrior in the Meng tribal clan. His goal was to take first place in the clan tournament, so he did not care about anyone, including Kang Xinmu. He thought that if he met Kang Xinmu, he would definitely beat Kang Xinmu into submission. In the Zhang tribal clan spectator stands. Zhang Shijian, tomorrow you'll be dealing with that kid. Let's see tomorrow's match, Kang Xinmu against Zhang Shijian. Unlike Meng Tianxing, Zhang Shijian was a Sky Dragon inheritor at the 2nd tier of the divine martial realm. His overall strength was definitely stronger than Meng Tianxing's. They were both inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence, but Zhang Shijian's martial arts cultivation was 2 levels higher than Jiang Xinwu's. In a situation where there was no advantage in the quality of the blood essence, Zhang Shijian's talent was 2 or 3 times higher than Jiang Xinwu's. Don't worry, I'm not an idiot from the Meng tribal clan. How could I fall to a kid at the Dragon Ascension realm? Zhang Shijian sneered. His expression was cold. He did not put Kang Xinmu in his eyes at all. Although he was not the strongest in the Zhang tribal clan, he was much stronger than the Jiang tribal clan's participants. The Jiang tribal clan's strongest, Jiang Liuxue, was only a Sky Dragon blood inheritor at the 1st tier of the divine martial realm. He was definitely not his match. In his view, no matter how strong Kang Xinmu was, he was only relying on the advantage of a dragon-grade dragon weapon. At most, he could offset the difference of 1 tier in cultivation. And he was 2 tiers higher than Kang Xinmu. This difference was difficult to make up for. Even if Kang Xinmu had 2 dragon weapons, it would be useless. But, Zhang Shijian, you have to be careful. The Zhang tribal clan's patriarch, Zhang Longjun, reminded him, this kid's talent is a bit strange, otherwise Meng Tianxing would not have lost. Tomorrow's match, be prepared. Got it, Patriarch. Zhang Shijian nodded, his eyes flashing. Chapter 3942. When Kang Xinmu returned to the spectator stand, Jiang Fengqing sarcastically said, "Today's luck is not bad, but tomorrow's opponent cannot be defeated by luck." The Zhang tribe's Zhang Shijian is rumored to have obtained the true inheritance of the sword. His talent is the hidden sword force. It is extremely sharp, and its lethality is much stronger than Meng Tianxing's death force. Jiang Yuaning read the information in her hands. It was obvious that Zhang Shijian was much more powerful than Meng Tianxing. Kang Xinmu was afraid of this kind of power. It was very penetrative, and if he was not careful, he would be seriously injured or even killed. He wouldn't even have time to recover. Moreover, Kang Xinmu had not devoured this power before, so he did not have any additional resistance against it. Indeed, it will be a little difficult to face Zhang Shijian tomorrow. Kang Xinmu nodded, but his eyes were filled with confidence. He believed that no matter how difficult it was, he would be the final victor. The main reason was that when he was fighting with Meng Tianxing, he had a faint feeling that he was about to make a breakthrough. Once he successfully entered the divine martial arts realm, he would not need to be afraid of Zhang Shijian. Tomorrow's battle could be Kang Xinmu's breakthrough battle. Although it would be a little difficult, his opponent was not invincible. Today, Kang Xinmu had defeated Meng Tianxing, which caused a wave of discussion among the spectators in the gladiatorial arena. Everyone was guessing whether Kang Xinmu could continue to defeat Zhang Shijian tomorrow and obtain a complete victory in the preliminary round. Without a doubt, most of the dragon martial artists guessed that Kang Xinmu was no match for Zhang Shijian. Because Zhang Shijian's performance in the past 4 days was too amazing. There were dragon martial artists from other clans, who were also inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence at the peak of the dragon ascension realm, which was the same cultivation as Kang Xinmu, but they were unexpectedly nailed to the martial arena by Zhang Shijian's dragon sword qi and killed in one move. Compared to Kang Xinmu, Zhang Shijian was too strong. He was so strong that the others didn't know how Kang Xinmu was going to resist. The power of the hidden sword, which could slash through everything, contained supreme penetrative power. Unless one's talent was stronger than his, there was no way to block it. Almost no one thought that Kang Xinmu could block Zhang Shijian's attack. In the previous 4 days, Zhang Shijian had used only one sword to defeat his opponents. The resplendent and dazzling sword was unforgettable. Although Zhang Shijian wasn't the strongest in this year's clan martial competition, his concealed sword force talent was definitely one of the most destructive powers. Moreover, if he had awakened a year earlier, he might have had the chance to obtain first place in this year's clan martial competition. Simply put, it was simply impossible for Zhang Shijian to be defeated by an opponent with a lower cultivation than him. Kang Xinmu did not care about what the outsiders said. He only paid attention to his own strength. During the battle with Meng Tianxing, he had obtained a certain breakthrough. As long as he could break through to the divine martial realm when dealing with Zhang Shijian tomorrow, everything would be fine. At night, Kang Xinmu had a good night's rest. However, on this day, there were people who couldn't sleep at all. In the morning, the arena had just opened. When Kang Xinmu arrived, he saw Shi Yueying waiting with a worried expression on her pretty face. When she saw Kang Xinmu, she came up to him and said, "Kang Xinmu, you must be careful in today's battle. Zhang Shijian's methods are very strong. In the first 4 days, if he didn't deliberately show mercy, his opponent would have been killed by him with a single sword strike. Don't worry, I won't be unable to even block a single dragon sword qi of his. Today, I will definitely defeat him." Kang Xinmu's expression turned cold as he said resolutely. He wasn't too confident right now, but if he couldn't even defeat Zhang Shijian, How could he talk about showing off in the clan martial competition and using this to drag Jiang Rong down from the position of clan leader? If he lost in the preliminaries, he might as well not participate in the clan martial competition. Yes, I believe in you. Do your best. However, if there is any danger, you must not try to be brave. With your talent, there is no need to be anxious. You must know that you have just awakened as a dragon warrior this year. Compared to Zhang Shijian, he cultivated a year earlier than you. Shi Yueying advised. Alright, I promise you. Kang Xinmu nodded. He wouldn't joke around with his life. If he really wasn't a match for him, then he would give up. It wasn't a shameful thing. In any case, he had won 4 rounds, so entering the semi-finals wouldn't be a problem. When the two of them turned around and stepped into the arena, they discovered that over 10,000 dragon warriors were all looking at Kang Xinmu. Today was the last day of the clan martial competition. In the clan martial competition, many genius-level experts had already emerged, but now, everyone's target was actually Kang Xinmu. All of this was because of Kang Xinmu's identity, and he was favored by the holy dragon of the Shi clan, Shi Tao. If he could defeat Kang Xinmu, what that meant was self-evident. Today, the battle between Kang Xinmu and Zhang Shijian was the first. On the stage, Zhang Shijian was already waiting. His sharp gaze looked towards Kang Xinmu. He was waiting for the moment the match began, releasing a dazzling brilliance and breaking through Kang Xinmu's defense with a single sword strike. I heard that your defense is very strong. Zhang Shijian said indifferently, but today, the dragon sword chi in my hand will tell you that defense is useless. Even if you are like a mountain, I will break it with a single sword strike. Kang Xinmu did not say anything as he leaped onto the stage. All the dragon warriors in the spectator stands turned their gazes over. At this moment, the two of them were the center of attention. Although it was only a preliminary round of the clan martial competition, it was very likely that this match would be the most dazzling one in the entire clan martial competition. Once Kang Xinmu lost, the popularity of this clan martial competition would definitely not be so high. It could be said that a large portion of the people wanted to see Kang Xinmu's situation. After all, this person could affect the future of the dragon prison city. One had to know that Kang Xinmu was highly regarded by the holy dragon Shi Tao, and it was very likely that he would marry his daughter to Kang Xinmu. As for the other participants of the clan martial competition, they did not have such influence. At least, they could not see such influence for the time being. Under the attention of the crowd, Kang Xinmu and Zhang Shijian faced each other on the martial arena. Even the other 9 arenas did not have any dragon warriors fighting. This was because everyone was watching Kang Xinmu and Zhang Shijian. They wanted to see how the battle was going and did not want to miss it. This battle was also the only battle that was held alone in the 5 days of the preliminaries of the clan martial competition. At other times, the 10 arenas would basically compete together in order to save time. Thank you for giving me such an honor. But I'm sorry, your journey ends here. Zhang Shijian said coldly. Following the announcement of the start of the battle, Zhang Shijian's entire body transformed into a dragon of sharp swords, instantly tearing through the sky. His 300-meter-long divine dragon body was like a streak of sword light that pierced through the sky, striking towards Kang Xinmu like lightning. The key to his battle lies in his aura. As long as I can block his first dragon sword chi, I'll be able to stabilize myself. Kang Xinmu's face darkened. In the next moment, a 100-meter-long black dragon soared into the sky, bringing with it an awe-inspiring divine might as it met the attack head-on. This scene caused everyone's heart to beat faster. For a moment, they broke out in cold sweat for Kang Xinmu. Did this kid not want his life anymore? Chapter 39-43. In the spectator stands, everyone was worried for Kang Xinmu. It seemed that Kang Xinmu had always been straightforward. No matter who his opponent was, he would fight them head-on. It was the same when he fought against Xia Tianhan at the beginning and Meng Tianqing the day before. Now, it was the same when he faced Zhang Shijian. However, Zhang Shijian was different from the previous two. Zhang Shijian's attack was the sharpest. The penetrative power of the dragon sword qi had reached the extreme, and it could almost instantly defeat the opponent. It was not impossible for him to kill Kang Xinmu with one strike. Yet, this kid dared to charge at him head-on? This was too stupid. It was simply. However, the situation in the arena changed in the blink of an eye. Just when everyone thought that Kang Xinmu would face it head-on, Kang Xinmu, who had transformed into a black dragon, suddenly somersaulted in mid-air and dodged the dragon sword qi with lightning speed. Then, while Zhang Shijian did not expect this move, Kang Xinmu's dragon tail wrapped around the sword qi divine dragon. The purple magic crystal instantly appeared on the surface of the black dragon, and then it was continuously cut into pieces by the sword light. However, the purple magic crystal kept regenerating, and the golden light of the halberd of Heavenly Saint covered the black dragon's body, preventing the sword qi divine dragon's body from hurting Kang Xinmu at all. And Kang Xinmu took advantage of this opportunity to firmly entangle Zhang Shijian. This is planning to fight Zhang Shijian in close combat? Unbelievable. So that's how it is. Kang Xinmu did not intend to fight Zhang Shijian head-on at all. He was just putting on a show to trick Zhang Shijian. That's right. Because Kang Xinmu has been charging head-on in the previous battles, Zhang Shijian did not expect him to suddenly change his style. But what's the use of entangling Zhang Shijian? Do you think we can win? Many people in the spectator stands were shocked. Unexpectedly, Kang Xinmu had this kind of idea. He had accurately calculated Zhang Shijian's thought process and plotted against him, thus successfully entangling him. Zhang Shijian thought that Kang Xinmu wouldn't turn around, so he didn't make any preparations. Who would have thought that Kang Xinmu would suddenly turn around and dodge his sword? It was completely unexpected. Damn it! Even if you can hold me back, what's the use? Dragon sword wings. The power of the hidden sword instantly transformed into many sword qi wings, condensing on both sides of the sword qi divine dragon transformed by Zhang Shijian, wanting to pierce into the black dragon body of Kang Xinmu. Dodge. Kang Xinmu only focused on his vitals. As long as it didn't affect his life, he couldn't be bothered with it. In that instant, hundreds of sword qi wings slashed across his body. What Zhang Shijian used was a fourth-grade dragon martial technique that had been cultivated to the dragon level. Its lethality was truly terrifying. In an instant, dragon blood splattered all over Kang Xinmu's black dragon body. Hundreds of wounds appeared on his body, some of which were so deep that bones could be seen. However, even so, Kang Xinmu still tightly entangled his opponent and didn't relax in the slightest. Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation. At this time, Kang Xinmu finally used this third-grade dragon martial technique. While sticking close to his opponent, the devouring power in his body transformed into the sharpest dragon fang, piercing straight at the sword qi divine dragon. Several bloody holes appeared on the sword qi divine dragon's body, but it didn't affect Zhang Shijian much. It was even more impossible for him to win. However, Kang Xinmu's devouring power took this opportunity to corrode his opponent's body. At this moment, the devouring power moved, and the blood and flesh essence of the dragon were continuously devoured into Kang Xinmu's body. At the same time, Kang Xinmu bit the sky demon core that he had previously placed in his mouth and devoured the heavenly energy within, quickly recovering his divine dragon body. There really is something strange. Die for me. Zhang Shijian felt the energy in his body flowing away. He knew that Kang Xinmu had used his innate ability and immediately became vigilant. The sword qi on his body suddenly blossomed, and the power of the hidden sword transformed into a long sword chi dragon that was released from his divine dragon body. It continuously exploded and pierced through Kang Shinmu's black dragon body, causing countless amounts of blood to spurt out. In the entire clan martial competition, there had never been a battle that was so cruel. In the spectator stands, many people's hearts were beating faster and their blood was boiling. Although this kind of hand-to-hand combat didn't require much skill, it was still soul-stirring. In the Shi clan mansion spectator stands, Shi Yueying clenched her hands. She was somewhat worried, but she still believed that Kang Shinmu could win. This was because she knew that Kang Shinmu's devouring power could allow him to quickly recover. Now that Kang Shinmu had clearly entangled with Zhang Shijian, the next step was to see if Zhang Shijian could defeat Kang Shinmu in a short period of time. If he couldn't, then the final victor would definitely be Kang Shinmu. That guy is too stupid. If this goes on, I'm afraid he'll really die on the arena. It's too wasteful to give him a dragon-grade weapon. In the Jiang clan spectator stands, Jiang Fengqing snorted coldly once again. In the arena, Kang Shinmu's black dragon body was covered in wounds. Dragon blood constantly splattered out, dyeing the arena red. It looked extremely miserable. In such a situation, Kang Shinmu still persisted in fighting. It was admirable, but not only did Jiang Fengqing not support him, she even cursed him to die. Her intentions were extremely vicious. Jiang Rong looked at the situation on the arena and felt his heart clench. He hoped that Kang Shinmu would die on the arena. That way, there would be no future trouble. Moreover, such a death would have nothing to do with him, and the Shi clan mansion wouldn't pursue it. However, things didn't go as he wished. He clearly couldn't see the day Kang Shinmu died. In the arena, Kang Shinmu was constantly attacked by the dragon sword energy. His body was covered in wounds, but he avoided his vitals every time, lest he be killed by his opponent. In such a situation, the increasingly strong devouring power invaded his opponent's body, devouring his flesh and life essence faster and faster. The Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation's dragon martial skill was constantly being used, clashing with his opponent's dragon sword energy. The terrifying power that erupted caused great damage to both sides. However, Kang Shinmu could rely on the devouring power to constantly recover. Go to hell. Zhang Shijian snorted coldly. His entire sword energy divine dragon body transformed into a sword light that soared into the sky. At this moment, he finally broke free from Kang Shinmu's entanglement. Then, the divine dragon body transformed into a giant sword. It descended from the sky, piercing through the air. This is the feeling. Break through for me. Jiang Shenwu roared in his heart. The surface of his divine dragon body was almost completely enveloped by the devouring force. The heavenly saint halberd turned into countless rays of golden light that shot up into the sky, clashing with that gigantic dragon sword chi. The divine martial arts realm. At this moment, Jiang Shenwu finally found the opportunity to break through. The aura of the entire pitch-black divine dragon body suddenly skyrocketed, and the devouring power actually turned into countless shadow dragon fangs, sweeping up like raindrops. The sword energy fell. The dragon teeth met it. Chapter 39-44. The sword chi and the dragon tooth clashed in midair. In an instant, a terrifying explosion rang out in the arena. The innate abilities of both sides exploded in an instant, filling the entire arena and blocking everyone's line of sight. The pitch-black devouring power condensed into the shadow dragon tooth completely shattered the opponent's sword chi and dispersed it. Then, it landed on the body of the sword chi divine dragon, seriously injuring Zhang Shijian. After breaking through to the divine martial realm, Kang Shinmu's innate ability was strengthened. With the dragon-grade halberd of the heavenly saint, even in a head-on confrontation, he did not lose to Zhang Shijian. The golden light of the heavenly saint's halberd was wrapped up by the devouring power and turned into a part of the shadow dragon tooth's power, breaking through the opponent's hidden sword power. At this time, the third-grade dragon martial skill, Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation, also broke through at the same time, stepping into the earth level, and its power increased exponentially. In addition, just now, Zhang Shijian was continuously devoured by Kang Xinmu, so he was unable to display his full strength for a while. It was not surprising that this move was broken by Kang Xinmu. On the other hand, Kang Xinmu had just broken through his strongest attack. As time went by, Zhang Shijian was defeated. Moreover, the Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation broke through his divine dragon body, causing him to be heavily injured. His 1,000-foot-long divine dragon body fell to the ground of the martial arts arena with a loud bang. This sound seemed to smash the hearts of many dragon warriors in the spectator stands. Too shocking. Another breakthrough in battle. Sacred Dragon Xia Yan wanted to vomit blood. Previously, when he was fighting with Xia Tianhan, Kang Xinmu had made a breakthrough and reached the peak of the Dragon Ascension realm, reversing the situation and defeating Xia Tianhan. Now, in the most crucial battle of the clan martial competition, this kid had once again made a breakthrough and reached the divine martial realm, defeating Zhang Shijian in one fell swoop. Wasn't it said that Zhang Shijian had no opponents at the same level as him? Just now, even before Kang Xinmu broke through, he had already suppressed him. What was going on? Sacred Dragon Xia Yan was very displeased, because this way, the prestige of the Shi clan residence had skyrocketed, and it had already completely overshadowed the Xia clan residence. Just by looking at how many people in the arena were looking at Kang Xinmu and the Shi clan residents with envious expressions, one could tell how much of an impact Kang Xinmu's victory over Zhang Shijian had. 5 consecutive victories in the clan martial competition. This kind of battle record, compared to everyone's initial guess of Kang Xinmu, was simply too good. Entering the semi-finals of the clan martial competition was absolute, and according to this situation, it was not impossible for Kang Xinmu to make it all the way to the finals. Because Kang Xinmu had already created 2 miracles. Yesterday, he had defeated Meng Tianxing. Today, he had even defeated Zhang Shijian. It could be seen that Kang Xinmu's strength had far exceeded everyone's expectations. Even the people from the Shi clan's residence had not expected him to be so powerful. Kang Xinmu returned to his human form and landed on the martial arena. The sword Qi divine dragon had already fainted. Too much of its flesh and blood essence had been devoured, and it had suffered serious injuries. Its dragon blood was constantly flowing out, causing it to faint. Very quickly, the Zhang clan's dragon warriors came up to the martial arena and sent Zhang Shijian away. These Zhang clan's dragon warriors all took a deep look at Kang Xinmu, then left the arena with hatred. Zhang Shijian was one of the stronger youths in their Zhang clan, and his future growth potential was very high. If he had awakened a year earlier, he might have been able to get first place in the clan martial competition. Now, Zhang Shijian, who had high hopes placed on him, was actually defeated by a mere Kang Xinmu. This was simply too inconceivable. However, even if he lost one match, Zhang Shijian would still be able to enter the semi-finals. If he met Kang Xinmu again in the semi-finals, what would the situation be like? For the clan martial competition, Dragon King Qiu had prepared many healing elixirs. For an injury like Zhang Shijian's, he would be able to recover in a single night. Therefore, in the semi-finals, Kang Xinmu and Zhang Shijian still had a chance of meeting again. A total of 100 people would enter the semi-finals, and then 20 would be chosen to enter the finals. Finally, the 17 clans would be ranked according to their rankings. After today, the preliminaries would end, and tomorrow, the semi-finals would begin. To be able to enter the semi-finals, one had to win at least 3 rounds of battle. Therefore, as long as one won 4 rounds, they would be able to enter the semi-finals. As for those who won 3 rounds, it would be up to the referees of the clan martial competition to choose the stronger ones to enter the semi-finals. Generally speaking, in a situation where the number of victories was the same, the dragon warrior who had awakened for a shorter period of time and had a higher martial realm would be chosen to advance. This was to ensure fairness. In the spectator stands, Kang Xinmu returned to the Jiang clan camp. Whether it was Jiang Rong, Jiang Fengqing or the others, their faces were ashen. They had originally thought that Kang Xinmu would die on the stage, but in the end, Zhang Shijian would be seriously injured and unconscious. Such an outcome was hard for them to accept, but it was an undeniable fact. Now, Jiang Fengqing did not dare to say another word. Because she understood that Kang Xinmu, who had entered the semi-finals, had completely surpassed her. In the eyes of the Dragon Prison City's divine dragon experts, Kang Xinmu's importance had surpassed the entire Jiang clan. If she were to be disrespectful to Kang Xinmu, she would probably be in trouble in the future. The Jiang clan side was silent. Instead, Jiang Liuxue, who had never spoken before, came to Kang Xinmu's side. Her eyes flashed with interest. Kang Xinmu, congratulations. If we meet in the semi-finals, I would like to know, between you and me, who is stronger? If we meet, there will be an answer. Kang Xinmu nodded lightly. From the beginning, he had never had any conflict with Jiang Liuxue. She only desired strength, and did not care about anything else. Even at the beginning, when he and Jiang Yuaning took away her right to cultivate the Grade 4 Dragon Martial Technique, she did not do anything to Kang Xinmu, because she admitted that she had lost. Now, seeing Kang Xinmu win 5 consecutive rounds, and even defeat Meng Tianqing and Zhang Shijian, her curiosity had reached its peak. She wanted to know, how did Kang Xinmu possess such powerful battle strength? Could it be that it was like the rumors, like father like son? Was it because of Jiang Zizai's bloodline? Jiang Liuxue wanted to personally fight with Kang Xinmu and see what was going on. Without a doubt, she wanted to defeat Kang Xinmu, to prove that she would not lose to Kang Xinmu, to that man's son. As for Jiang Liuxue, Kang Xinmu did not take her to heart. After all, Jiang Liuxue's strength was inferior to Zhang Shijian's, and it was impossible for her to be Kang Xinmu's match. When he broke through to the first tier of the divine martial realm, his cultivation level was the same as Jiang Liuxue's. Chapter 39-45. Kang Xinmu continued to observe the situation of the battle. Today was the last day of the preliminary round of the clan martial competition. The battle between him and Zhang Shijian just now was the first match, and there were still many battles to be carried out. After 4 days of observation, Kang Xinmu had a rough understanding of the strength of the majority of the genius dragon warriors participating in the clan martial competition. However, there were a few who were especially strong, but they still hadn't displayed the slightest bit of their true fighting strength. For example, the strongest genius of the Meng clan, Meng Chou, was now an inheritor of the heavenly dragon blood essence at the 4th level of the divine martial realm. Even though Kang Xinmu had reached the 1st level of the divine martial realm, it was still extremely difficult for him to defeat Meng Chou. It was even close to impossible. If he were to fight with Meng Chou now, the possibility of Kang Xinmu losing was very high. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu had been constantly devouring his opponent's innate ability for the past 5 days, so he had a certain resistance to some innate ability. Meng Chou's innate ability was the power of a huge rock. There was also the strongest genius dragon warrior of the Zhang clan, Zhang Feng, whose innate ability was the power of the spiritual fire. Its destructive power was extremely terrifying. As long as I can devour the power of a huge rock in the semi-finals, I will be able to fight against these 2 guys. There are also some other inheritors of the heavenly dragon blood essence at the 3rd level of the divine martial realm. They can't be ignored. Kang Xinmu swept his gaze over the situation in the arena and began to think of a plan in his heart. He had already come this far and won all 5 days. He didn't want to give up halfway. His father, Jiang Zizai, was able to win first place in the clan martial competition and sweep away all the dragon warriors. Then, he must do the same. Otherwise, how could he find the missing Jiang Zizai? With his current strength, it was impossible for him to go to a place where even Jiang Zizai had disappeared, let alone find Jiang Zizai. Therefore, he had to be stronger than the previous Jiang Zizai. Then, let's start with this clan martial competition. With the goal of first place in the clan martial competition, I will always be able to think of a way. He had already memorized all the opponents he might encounter. Then, on the last day, before all the battles had ended, he left the arena and went to another place in the city, the Life and Death Arena. The Life and Death Arena was a place in Dragon Prison City where dragon martial artists could fight against demonic beasts. This was a cruel place, but at the same time, it allowed dragon warriors to obtain the greatest amount of tempering. This was because each of the demon beasts imprisoned in the Life and Death Arena had experienced many life and death battles. They all had their own ways of dealing with dragon warriors. It was extremely difficult to kill these demonic beasts. There were even dragon warriors who often died in the Life and Death Arena, becoming food for those demonic beasts. Therefore, normally, only those dragon martial artists who were extremely short of money would come to the Life and Death Arena to provide entertainment and fight with these demonic beasts. Now, Kang Shinmu's goal was to find a battle in the Life and Death Arena. The semi-finals are about to begin. The Life and Death Arena is about to begin. Kang Shinmu was very clear about his current weakness. Compared to Meng Chou, Zhang Feng and the other genius dragon warriors, he only lacked time. However, with the existence of the devouring power, he could use other methods to make up for the lack of time. That was to devour the power of the demonic beasts and increase his resistance to certain powers. Right now, Kang Shinmu did not have the time to go out of the dragon prison city. Therefore, he could only target the demonic beasts in the Life and Death Arena. Obviously, there was another advantage in the Life and Death Arena, and that was that he could choose any demonic beasts as his opponent. If he wanted to deal with Meng Chou, he had to choose a demonic beast that possessed the power of a giant rock and devour the power of a giant rock in its body to increase his resistance to the power of a giant rock. If he was going to fight with Zhang Feng, he would choose a demonic beast that possessed the power of fire and devour the power of fire to increase his resistance to the power of fire. There was also a series of other innate abilities. Kang Shinmu was able to find the corresponding demonic beast in the Life and Death Arena and devour its power, turning it into his own resistance to the power of the demonic beast. Without a doubt, this way, Kang Shinmu would be able to obtain the power to defeat those genius experts. After all, his opponent had awakened 2 years earlier than him. 2 more years of cultivation time brought about a gap that was almost impossible to make up for. If he did not possess the devouring power, he would have long given up on the goal of becoming the number 1 in the clan martial competition. But now, he was still able to give it a try. Although it was only a temporary and targeted increase in strength, after obtaining first place in the clan martial competition, he would be able to obtain more cultivation resources. He would be able to cultivate at a faster speed and achieve his goal of finding his father, Jiang Zizai. Kang Shinmu came to the Life and Death Arena alone. Jiang Yuaning and Shi Yueying, who were more concerned about him, quietly followed behind him and met outside the Life and Death Arena. "Miss Shi, you also followed him here? I wonder what he came to the Life and Death Arena for. Could it be that he is looking for an opportunity to make a breakthrough?" Jiang Yuaning's face was filled with worry. Shi Yueying's expression was somewhat ice-cold, but she was still slightly warmer towards Jiang Yuaning. "I don't know about him, but no matter what he wants to do, I will support him. Let's go in together." The 2 girls followed Kang Shinmu and stepped into the Life and Death Arena. Without a doubt, the 2 girls directly paid the money and went to the spectator stands of the Life and Death Arena. Here, there were many high-ranking officials and nobles eating, drinking, and playing, watching the bloody and cruel battle in the life and death arena. Among these people, there were many who were not even dragon warriors and had yet to awaken. They were born in some dragon warrior families, so even if they did not want to make progress, they would still be carefree for the rest of their lives. The life and death arena was one of the more expensive places. Because here, they could see bloody battles that they normally could not see. For ordinary warriors who were unable to awaken, the battle between the dragon warriors and the demon beasts was extremely exciting. It could awaken the bloodthirsty seed in the depths of their hearts and make them go crazy. Seeing the two delicate girls, Shi Yueying and Jiang Yuaning, arrive at the VIP seats, many men dressed in expensive clothes turned their gazes over and whispered to each other, as if they were discussing who they were. These two girls are really beautiful, especially that ice-cold one. I really want to bring her home. Shoo. Are you courting death? Bastard, that's the young miss of the Shi family. If you want to die, don't drag me down with you. So it's the young miss of the Shi family. But what is she doing here? She is a dragon warrior. It doesn't seem like she can find any fun in the life and death arena, right? Furthermore, the clan martial competition is currently in progress. It's said that her lover is participating in the clan martial competition. How could she have the leisure to come to the life and death arena? Many people were puzzled. They recognized Shi Yueying's identity, so they naturally did not dare to act recklessly. However, they were very curious, what was Shi Yueying doing in the life and death arena? Soon, they knew. Chapter 3946. Kang Xinmu set foot in the arena of life and death. He came to the arena to devour a specific power, so he chose a giant rock bear from the very beginning. This was a powerful demonic beast with a relatively pure bloodline and a very powerful ancient bloodline. Its strength was equivalent to that of a dragon warrior who had inherited the sky dragon blood essence. It had a cultivation of the second tier of the heavenly demon realm, which was equivalent to the second tier of the divine martial realm. Heavenly demons have talents, just like the golden dragon lion from before. It used its talent to defeat Xia Tianhan and Zhang Xianjian. Kang Xinmu was very cautious. Even though he had defeated Zhang Xijian, he did not take the giant rock bear lightly. He knew very well that the giant rock bear's fighting strength was probably much higher than Zhang Xijian's, because this demonic beast had won 13 battles in a row in the arena of life and death. According to the rules of the arena of life and death, the inheritors of the sky dragon blood essence could not surpass the second tier of the divine martial realm, and the inheritors of the true dragon blood essence could not surpass the third tier of the divine martial realm. Therefore, there had been 13 dragon warriors who had failed and died in the giant rock bear's hands, becoming its food. Now, as the inheritor of the sky dragon blood essence who had reached the first tier of the divine martial realm, Kang Xinmu had come to challenge the giant rock bear, which immediately attracted the attention of the arena of life and death. Before leading Kang Xinmu to choose his opponent, the steward of the arena of life and death had told Kang Xinmu that he was worried that something would happen to him in the arena of life and death. After all, he was a young man favored by the sacred dragon of the Shi clan. If he died in the arena of life and death, it would not be good for their business in the future. However, Kang Xinmu repeatedly promised that he would not die and told the steward of the fact that he had defeated Zhang Xijian today. If I win, I will get 1 million dragon coins and half of the guests' tips. If I lose, I will lose my life, right? Kang Xinmu confirmed the rules and then chose the giant rock bear as his opponent. He was first led by the steward of the arena of life and death to the fighting ring in the middle of the arena of life and death. This was a giant cage surrounded by a sturdy cage. Its purpose was to prevent the battle in the arena from injuring the dignitaries in the spectator stands. Kang Xinmu was brought into this huge cage, just like an animal for people to admire. Today, the one who came to the life and death arena is the future son-in-law of the Shi family, brother Kong Shinmu. His current cultivation is at the first level of the God martial arts realm, and his opponent is the bolder violent bear who has won 13 battles in a row, brother 2. This violent rock bear was called Brother Tuesday. In the life and death arena, every demonic beast had a similar code name. This was because such a code name could arouse the emotions of the audience and make them crazily throw money at it. When the manager of the life and death arena introduced Kong Shinmu and his opponent, the gigantic rock bear, the thousands of people in the spectator stand started shouting wildly. Today's battle was just too exciting. It was actually the rumored son-in-law of the Shi clan, Kong Shinmu. Recently, the news of the Shi clan's prospective son-in-law had already spread throughout the entire dragon prison city. Even ordinary warriors who had not awakened to become dragon warriors knew of Kong Shinmu's name. They also knew that Kong Shinmu had defeated the Xia clan Xia Tianhan in a duel. Moreover, the recent clan martial competition was in full swing. Yesterday, the news of Kong Shinmu defeating Meng Tianxing had just spread, causing everyone to be extremely amazed. However, the scale of the clan martial competition was still too small for the entire dragon prison city. The news did not spread that fast. Most of the people in the city did not know that Jiang Shenwu had defeated Zhang Shijian today. Therefore, they had some estimates of Kong Shinmu's strength. Wasn't he just the inheritor of the heavenly dragon blood essence at the first level of the divine martial realm? But it's strange. This kid is about to become the son-in-law of the Shi clan. Why would he come to the life and death arena to court death because of a lack of money? He might not necessarily be courting death. It's said that this kid often creates miracles. He might even be able to kill that bolder violent bear today. You think Brother 2 will lose to him? Lose to a kid who is only at the first level of the divine martial realm? Don't joke around, that's impossible. That's right, this young master knows Brother 2's strength. No matter how strong this Kong Shinmu is, he won't be a match for Brother Tuesday, everyone was discussing animatedly. The majority of them did not believe that Kong Shinmu would be a match for the bolder violent bear, Brother 2. The introduction of Kong Shinmu as the son-in-law of the dragon prison city caused Shi Yueying, who was in the spectator stands, to blush slightly. She had never thought that this matter would spread so quickly, and that the entire city would already know about it. But in reality, this matter was completely false. Holy Dragon Shi Tao had such a plan, but he wasn't sure. As for Jiang Shenwu and Shi Yueying, they didn't take this matter to heart. Many a time, such things happened naturally, and there was no need to be so conflicted. Obviously, the life and death arena had used this matter as the explosive point of this battle. This news would obviously arouse the enthusiasm of the spectators, making them throw money, and throw money again. It's actually a bolder violent bear. Can Kong Shinmu defeat it? A bolder violent bear at the second level of the Sky Demon Realm has already killed 13 powerful dragon warriors. Its strength is probably even more terrifying than Zhang Shijian. Jiang Yuaning could not help but feel worried. Don't worry, since he chose the bolder violent bear as his opponent, he will definitely be able to defeat it. Shi Yueying was more confident in Jiang Shenwu, but in fact, she was also a little perturbed in her heart. It was difficult for her to remain calm. After all, this was the life and death arena. Every year, countless dragon martial artists died in the life and death arena. Even Shi Yueying herself did not believe that Kong Shinmu could defeat the bolder violent bear. But from the bolder violent bear, she seemed to be able to see Kong Shinmu's goal, and that was to use the devouring power to deal with the Meng clan's strongest, Meng Chou. Whatever power Kong Shinmu devours, he seems to be more familiar with that power and has a stronger resistance to it. However, he actually set his sights on Meng Chou. This is the genius dragon warrior who is very likely to obtain first place in this year's clan martial competition. Shi Yueying was shocked. She never thought that Kang Xinmu would actually have such a high goal. He wanted to obtain first place in this year's clan martial competition. Otherwise, he wouldn't have chosen the bolder Violent Bear as his opponent. Right now, the preliminary round of the 5th day of the clan martial competition was still continuing, but Kang Xinmu was already preparing for the semi-finals and finals. It could be seen that Kang Xinmu was very ambitious. However, the only one who vaguely knew that Kang Xinmu was able to devour his opponent's power and increase his resistance to it was Shi Yueying.